Anyone else autistic in chat?
The Rogue Room appreciates your recommendation.
And we are back. How's it going, folks? Welcome to the Rogue Room. I am your host, the Abigail Beck. You might have noticed I've taken little color filters out of my things. You know, I can make some 3D glasses with these. Whoa, that's a trip. I used to have these in the little key lights. And I'm like, no, fuck that. I keep putting effort into my makeup and I make it look nice, and you can't see any of the fucking colors I use. So you get white key lights. Fuck you. How's it going? Welcome in. Deal with it. What's happening, folks? Welcome back. Again, we go into the stream with no actual plans in motion. Today's been stressy, messy, and all that. My girlfriend is sick. My girlfriend is fucking sick, and it sucks. It sucks so fucking hard. Holy shit. I can't be near her at the moment. She's got to go stay in my kids' room, and I am so sorry that she has to sleep in there. Fucking why? Why, world? Why? Oh, goodness. You're eating cheap because you're poor as fuck. I mean, the microwave lasagna I had wasn't exactly expensive. But depending on your budget, it might be considered a luxury to some. How's everyone else's day been? You need to message me about meeting up in 24 days. Yes, indeed. That would be good, actually. Yeah, that'd be cool if we can. Yes, let's swing it. Let's do it. Mad Dog Seamus, how's it going?
Guests.
Welcome to the Rogue Room. What's happening?
Friends.
What's happening? Welcome in, friends. Let's change the lights, why don't we? Let's do some fancy shit. Let's do some magic with our lighting. How was stream? What'd you get up to? We just started. We just kicked off. Kate, enjoy that lurk. Not a whole lot. I'm okay. I'm just too warm. I am really fucking warm. It's frustrating, actually. It might be because, like, the weather is heating up here in summer, and also, like, I look sweaty. I did sort of, like, I did a stupid thing with my hair, right? Because I went to the gym. We'll talk about that. We'll go into the gym thing a little bit more soon. But I went to the gym for the first time in ages today. And, of course, I got really sweaty. So after I got sweaty, came home, did a bunch of other stuff before I jumped in the shower, and I was like, my hair is dripping with sweat. So I'm just going to run it under the water, which just and I wasn't going to wash it. It's not like a wash day. I don't wash my hair every single day. So as a result, what I get is this flat, greasy looking shit. I don't know. Looks like trash, but I look like trash, so I accept it. Anyways, we're playing some 7 Days to Die, Stream Raiders, Tall Poppy, and a bit of YouTube videos. What kind of YouTube videos were you watching? Interesting stuff. Sounds good. Sounds good. I just this isn't exactly the same, but I just there's a bit of a meme, a bit of a trending thing going around on Twitter at the moment, where you post what was it? Where is it? Let me see my replies. It's in one of these replies. This thing, here's Loot Demon's one, right? And I said to Loot Demon, we gotta play Don't Starve together again at some point. This thing, if you want to collaborate with me, if you think I'm a hottie, if you enjoy my general energy and presence, you might have seen that one cropping up. But yeah, I want to play some Don't Starve with Loot Demon at some point. Oh, let's turn the lights off. Whoops, goodbye lights. Goodbye. Bye lights. Okay.
Thank you for
Silent Storm, thank
membership.
you. For the goodness me, thank you so much for the tier 1. How are you doing? You legend, you. You absolute legend, you. A little bit of Dragon Ball Z abridged by Team 4-Star. Oh, okay. I haven't played that game in ages, neither have I. I think actually the last time I played Don't Starve together was with Loot Demon. And I was just literally talking about the fact that I'm not really into those games, but, you know, with the right company. It's an interesting thing because I'm like, there are a surprising amount of people who would like to collab with me, actually. And I'm on a very rigid schedule. Walked about 6.7 Ks to work this morning. It was really nice. Well, that's good. That's good. Walked the same this afternoon. Nearly died. Oh my god. 14 Ks in a day. That's ridiculous. I mean, it's good. It's good. I think I've done 10 Ks in a day. Which is rough. Like, holy shit. How can people do that regularly? There are people I know of who will routinely do like 2 hours of cardio every day. And I'm like, what's wrong with you? Why? So yeah, I actually signed back up to the gym today. It was very expensive. It was painful, but I had a little bit of cash, so I signed up to the gym, which was good. It was good to be in the gym. It's good to be back in the gym. It's the place I'm the most productive with my workouts, because it's the environment that you need, you know. I mean, it's not. You can work out without being in a gym. Don't get me wrong. XY Chelsea, hello. I recognize that name. Hello, how you doing? Yeah, what was I gonna say? Yeah, I found personally that the gym is like the most productive area for fitness for me personally. I was just sort of like coasting along doing home workouts, and it's honestly kind of shocking getting back into the gym itself and realizing how much I wanted to push myself. You know, before I was just like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do these dumbbell exercises that I can do. And it's just sort of like maintenance. You don't break a sweat. You don't really like reach those goals that you want to reach. Hello, how are you, Vox? You're nobody. I don't know who you are. I've never seen you before. Give me 1 sec, because I'm sweating my ass off here, and I worked for that shit, so I want to keep it. I really need to turn my aircon on because I'm sweating. Look at this. My hair is not staying right because I'm so sweaty. Look at me. You're Batman. No, I'm Batman. Is anyone interested in that Batman movie that's coming? I'm intrigued to a point. At what point do we get sick of seeing Batman? Sims has taught us there is a buff for being in a gym. Proven. I mean, I will say, like, it feels to me personally, and maybe this is just an autistic thing, but having the right environment for the thing you want to do is conducive to doing the thing, generally speaking. My pronouns are she, it, technically. Most of the time people just call me she, which is fine. She, her, generally, but it's if you're feeling fancy. Don't want to be a rich vigilante white dude. You're too hot for that. Yeah, it's like, why is Bruce Wayne putting all of his money into tracking down criminals and not feeding the homeless or something? Although I'm aware, for the record, I'm completely aware of the fact that Bruce Wayne Enterprises are very philanthropic in the comics or whatever. I get it. Don't get me wrong. But still, hey cab. So you want to know, was that lady who peed on that guy on stage guerrilla marketing for the new Matrix movie? Oh, I saw that. I liked it. I was quite fond of it. But yeah, just spoiler alert. They cover the song "Wake Up" by Rage Against the Machine in the credits. I don't know what the band is, but it doesn't hold up to the original, which is unfortunate because the movie's good, but the cover of "Wake Up" is not. It's just hard pass. Yikes, hard pass. Stories Bruce Wayne style thing, only they're not billionaires and their privilege got called out in recent chapters. Good, call them out. Oh, Brass Against the Machine, which is just brass versions of Rage songs. Is it really? That's mildly amusing, actually. I didn't notice the brass. I honestly didn't. I thought it was just like a femme-led rock band playing. I don't know. I wasn't paying that much attention. I just heard that there was a cover of Wake Up in the credits. I'm like, okay, I'll stick around to listen to it. And the unfortunate thing is, like, there are certain segments in the original song where there's a break between lyrical segments, you know, and that's the way the original song is structured. So they've just cut those bits out. They've cut those bits of instrumental out and condensed the lyrical bits so that this cover of Wake Up can be, I don't know, like it would fit into just the segment of the credits where it plays. And it's really jarring, honestly. It's really, really jarring. Elon Musk is Tony Stark without a suit, and Bruce Wayne's a working self-driving car. Cool, you're trying to make a difference in the lives of people who are suffering, but if you don't acknowledge your privilege, you can't do shit. It's interesting that, actually, when you bring up privilege to certain people and try to get them to acknowledge that, you know, the reason... I don't know. What's a good example of that very same thing? I'm just thinking, what's a good example of that? There are a few people I know of who, and I should gleefully admit my own privilege when talking about social issues, of course. There are a few streamers I can think of in particular who will go out of their way to say, okay, I have to concede, you know, in this particular discussion I have this privilege or that privilege or that privilege. I don't know exactly, you know, if we're talking about a story regarding the homeless, for example. I have the privilege of being sheltered. You know. May have had killing in the name of playing when I went to the police station to pick up some court documents. The cop heard it when I took my headphones out. She just laughed a bit and went, "No offense taken." I'm wary. Anyway. I had one good interaction with a cop recently, but it was rather jarring. Did I tell this story yet? I don't know if I told this story yet, or the fact that I nearly got, I don't know, thrown in prison, which would have been cool if not for the fact that I was trying to go to Melbourne. You know, I was trying to get on a flight, so I didn't particularly fancy spending the night in jail. Almost got arrested. I went through the airport. I'm sure I'm okay to talk about this. Prison or Melbourne? I would much prefer prison in Melbourne, because there's a jail just on a street corner, literally down the road from my friend's place. I think she totally took offense but said no offense for PR's sake. I can see that. Anyway, what's on my agenda this evening? Good question. There are a few things I do want to talk about, like the COVID rapid test thing that's going on in Australia right now in particular. Harvey Norman, a notorious bad taste furniture chain. Like, if you really just have no taste in furniture whatsoever, it's completely fitting that they would sell rapid antigen tests at Harvey Norman, because that's one of the symptoms of COVID, and you would want to know that you have it if you're shopping there in the first place. However, that aside, we'll do the antigen test thing soon. They made me wear a mask through the terminal. They did, the bastards. How dare they? No, we all know the story of the fact that I'm traumatized. That's a great way to start a story, isn't it? I'm traumatized. How are you? A man followed me to my car once, and in response to that, I bought something I probably shouldn't have had. A little while back, and I kept it on my key ring. It's called a Kubotan, and you can't, it's a weapon technically, and when they put my keys through the baggage checky thing, they noticed I had a weapon on my key ring. Oops. And we had to sit there, Maddie and I had to sit there in the terminal just sort of waiting for ages for the cops to show up, and our flight was drawing ever closer to taking off, to boarding. Finally, the police showed up, and they just they just forfeited the item and let us go. So we were fortunate in that circumstance. Not really an eventful story because we were just sitting there stressing our fucking brains out. Here I don't know. I was worried, so I bought a little tiny self-defense bar that honestly looks more like a dildo than anything else, but whatever. It's gone now. I don't care. Work it just instituted a weekly COVID test for those who are unvaccinated. As well they should, honestly. Extreme dildo. If you got this thing, I mean, it was very small, but still, it wouldn't be comfortable to have that shoved up, yeah? Anyway, that's why you just have a wad of aluminium. Goodness. It's infringed on your American rights. Why is Harvey Norman still a thing? Legit. Whenever I go in there are these massive stores. Harvey Norman is huge, right? The Harvey Norman shop front is massive. You ever go into one, there's just this, it's so sprawling you can't see the other end of it most of the time. And it's just packed to the gills with furniture of all kinds and all of it looks like crap. And I legitimately, every time I've been in there, there's like 3 other customers maybe. How do they stay in business? Who is shopping at Harvey Norman? You got mine, so you just gotta get your booster now. I want to get my booster. I can't wait. I got my second vax shot really early, like 5 or 6 weeks after my first, because I wanted to socialize. And as a result, I've only got 66% efficacy? What's the phrasing? Like, I've only got 66% effectiveness of my vaccine because of that. So I need that booster shot, which, you know, I think we're all ready for the inevitable reality of the situation is we're probably going to be getting vaxxed for COVID for the rest of our lives, or at least until the end of civilization at this rate. I forget who it was that said we're moving into an age of pandemics, and I'm like, yeah, I can see that, unfortunately. Somebody mentioned last night that, you know, global warming has made the age of pandemics thing an effective inevitability, and that sucks. That's fucking awful, but yeah. Let's go, Age of Pandemics, the less popular real-time strategy game next to Age of Empires. That was you, Vox. Yes, it was. There we go. We're already getting annual shots for the flu. This just fucks us up harder if we get it. Yeah, exactly. So, I'm going to get my flu shot the moment that rolls around. Yeah. You get yours tomorrow. Good. Good, as you should. As you should. My hair is not behaving and I don't like it. Can someone tell my hair to behave? It's because it's greasy and wet. Ew. Hello, Penny. How you doing? What's going on? It's not like we're unfamiliar with regular vax shots unless someone's anti-vax / dumb as fuck, which unfortunately in a situation where the entire world needs to get vaccines in order to fight this thing off, the anti-vax movement has grown significantly. Like there was, before COVID, yeah, anti-vaxxers exist. They did. Existed, both are technically applicable. But the moment it becomes a worldwide thing, Comet Girl, thank you for the host, by the way, and Penny, thank you for rating. Hello, welcome in, friends. Welcome to the Rogue Room. How's it going? Let me just hit these for you.
I see you've brought guests.
You have brought guests.
Welcome, friends.
How was your stream? How'd you go? What'd you get up to? We're just talking about the pandemic because that's fun. Yeah, there were anti-vaxxers before. There were people who didn't want to get their kids vaxxed or who didn't want to get their flu shots or whatever because they had some wild conspiracy theories. And before they were the minority, before they were not exactly the loud, vocal bunch of assholes that they are now, which are actually proving to be a legitimate threat to society. Anyway, Aussie, yes, I'm Aussie. How's it going, folks? Welcome in. My name's Abigail Beck. This is the Rogue Room. We usually tend to cover news, social discourse, whatever's going on. I don't know. I'm a lefty streamer and we talk about shit. And at the moment we're talking about the pandemic, which is always fun. And it's going to lead into something regarding the rapid antigen tests, which are currently making the rounds because people want to know if they have COVID or not and they don't want to go to a testing center, I guess. Honestly, Vox, yeah, I've been noticing that. There hasn't really been a lot of news lately. It's just all COVID. It's 2 a.m. Radio Mad Dog. Thank you so kindly for the raid before. Hello, Danny. How's it going? Before those were leftists who also happen to be crazy. Or something. COVID and Prince Andrew sprinkled in. We can do some yo-yo in a sec. Playing XCOM and smoking weed based. We can do a flex. Let's get the flex out of the way. Us. There you go. I worked biceps today, so they might actually look nice. Can we get some arm flexes in chat? Can we get the... What's that one called? Can we get some... Can we do this? I mean, this might not work if you're not subbed. So you should subscribe to my Twitch channel because I need money. Because I want to move to Melbourne. Anyway, let's yo-yo, and then we'll continue talking. We'll yo-yo in the fancy RGB lights. It's cooling down in here, thankfully. Sup? Us, there we go. I want to actually learn how to do things with this, but I need like a tricking yo-yo. This yo-yo is a cheap piece of garbage. I'm sure I mean, it's not a cheap piece of garbage. It was a present from my kids. But...
You are too kind.
Well, Forlorn, thank you for kicking off today's daily sub goal. We smashed last night's. Can we smash tonight as well? That'd be based. We should. There's some yo-yo for you. Thank you for gifting us up to Penny Yells. Thank you so kindly. If you move to Melbourne, you're a Lions fan. What does that mean? And I don't want people to leave me alone. I want attention. I'm moving to Melbourne because I want attention. I've heard there are streamers there, so I'm going to go hang out with them and do like collab streams and stuff and grow my brand or whatever. I don't know. What do you move to Melbourne for? I'm sick of New South Wales. There's nothing here. This place is boring. I hate it. I hate it. Okay? You're not subbed because you're broke. Well, yes. Take care of yourself first, of course. I mean, I'm not completely an asshole. Being a Brisbane Lions fan means you're an amazing human being. I literally have no interest in sports, though. And I made a whole video on the fucking subject, which is stupid. You know. Current crush is Maggie Mae Fish. I've heard that name before. People are having little bits of a chat about Lindsay Ellis leaving the internet, actually, on the subject. Can we look up the Lindsay Ellis thing? Did anyone see the Lindsay Ellis thing? This is interesting. And it's just set everybody off, of course. Lindsay Ellis is a prominent video essayist who someone, I think it might have been either H Bomber Guy or someone else, credited her with effectively pushing the video essay format onto YouTube in the first place. Like, she was one of the big deals around video essays. That whole oh, that's not it. That's not the one. Blah. Where is it? She posted a Patreon post. She privated it. Oh, you're fucking kidding. No way. Oh, dude. That sucks. You have to private. Blah. Okay. Well, she posted this lengthy goodbye letter. She's not doing YouTube anymore. And it's completely understandable why. Left the interwebs after the whole channel awesome thing. She was the nostalgia chick to Doug Walker's nostalgia critic. Oh, okay. Yeah, hope it makes her happier. Absolutely. I wonder if I can find it somewhere. I mean, it'd be pretty crass of someone to like copy it. Lindsay Ellis on Twitter, goodbye. Is somebody screen capped it? I feel mean. If she's privated it, I probably shouldn't show you. For those who can't see the Patreon post, okay, someone has like copy pasted the text, and I think it's worth reading. This is the one. Yeah, this is the one. How do we feel about me reading it to you? How do we feel about like me reading this one out? Because it's interesting to hear her thoughts on this whole thing as to why she's leaving. There was a rash of White Rose Covidiot stickers around here, Highgate/London, but they stopped. Darwin Award collector. What's White Rose? I'm confused. Desire to know more. Are you all okay with that? We can read it. It's still on the Lindsay Ellis subreddit. Okay. Well, I found. Oh, it is. I'm on the Lindsay Ellis subreddit. There we go. Okay. So for those who can't see the Patreon post, walking away from Omelas. I don't know what that is. This was going to be a YouTube video, but I just don't have it in me to invite that kind of scrutiny to be the last in the sick, sad line of YouTubers who get all weepy on camera and cry about how they just can't do this anymore, boo-hoo-hoo, which I'm reminded of Jenna Marbles doing her goodbye video, and that was just it. She was gone. I don't... Has Jenna Marbles done anything since, or is she just literally straight up retired and fuck yous? You know? I mean, it was kind of miserable to see that. It's like, she does seem to have retired, yeah. The One Who Walk Away from Amelas is a 1973 work of short philosophical fiction by American writer Ursula K. Le Guin. With deliberately both vague and vivid descriptions, the narrator depicts a summer festival in the utopian city of Amelas, whose prosperity depends on the perpetual misery of a single child. The Ones Who Walk Away from Amelas was nominated for the Locus Award for Best Short Fiction in 1974, and won the Hugo Award for Best Short Story in 1974. Okay. There's a good Jessie Gender video about this. I wouldn't be surprised. Jessie Gender does good work. And Jessie herself had a really good video, which wasn't a goodbye video, but it was very much a I'm scaling back the content I'm doing because of the it was the one about like neurodivergent trans people and the burnout thing. Anyways, let's keep moving on. I plan to move video content to Nebula, but I realize now that doing that is just keeping wounds wide open. My life ended 9 months ago. What has been taking up bandwidth ever since then has been a ghost. I can't read. I'm sorry. We've got some really clever trolls in chat.
Enjoy your
membership. Wow, Pricey, thank you so much for the sub. You fucking legend, you. Look at that. I'm better than the trolls in chat because I get money to sit in front of a camera and read other people's posts. Us. How's it going? Fuckheads. How did that even get through the word filter? I mean, come on, dude. Belgeletta. Yeah, mom. Anyway. Hey, Vimsy, by the way, it was really great fucking a crush the other night. I tell you, that was good. Anyway, not that you ever will. This is a grim sentiment. My life ended 9 months ago. What has been taking up bandwidth ever since then has been a ghost, which I can understand. I can understand that. That idea of devoting yourself to something and then that's basically burnout. The way I'm reading that is burnout. In the sense that you have something that is providing you with, what would you say? Like you have a career or you have a job or something that is covering all your general life expenses, paying your bills, putting food on the table and what have you. But you reach a certain point with it where it's just, that becomes your life's purpose and your life's meaning. But in the process, you lose your purpose and meaning. Like you're suddenly that thing, you're just an automaton chugging along through things, you know. Her mask off video was really raw and private, and then her subsequent videos felt empty. It was coming. I don't think I've seen that one. I think I've seen people referencing it. Was that the last video she did? I don't recall. Should I give 1,000K to Abby to put off my bottom surgery for another 6 months? 1,000K? Wait, 1,000K as in... I'm reading that like $1 million. Anyway, feel quite pleased with myself right now. As you should. As you should. It was the video immediately after the controversy. Hang on. Oh, I think... Yeah. You know what? I doubt she's deleted her YouTube channel. But she might have. Lindsay Ellis. Yeah, her videos still... So, Love Never Dies, a magnificent musical trash fire sequel to The Phantom of the Opera, is her last video on the channel, by the way. Mask Off. I did watch this one. Which was very interesting, but it's an hour and 40 minutes long, so we're not going to watch that together. It meant 1K. That makes more sense. Don't put off your bottom surgery. No, don't do that. I would feel so bad. Because half the reason I want to move is to save money to do my bottom surgery. Because there's jobs there. There's work in Melbourne. There's nothing here where I live. 1 million would be quite the hefty gift. Can you do that? Is that possible on Twitch? Just there's a hypothetical for you. Is it possible to give someone, to tip someone $1 million, like via PayPal or whatever? Because surely there'd be some legalities around gifting someone that much money, right? I'm certain there are. There's only so much money you're allowed to give someone as a gift, technically speaking. I wonder if anyone money launders via Twitch. Oh, that absolutely yes, 100%. I don't know who, but definitely somehow. Motherfucker, I just fucking shaker bottle came all over my face. Didn't even ask consent. Tax stuff would probably run a train on anyone who tried. Well, true. Yeah. I'm trying not to wipe my makeup off. Ah, damn it. It's alright. It's okay. It's alright. Anyway, moving on. Let's keep reading. It's almost funny how many people will insist that I have lost nothing, because subscriber count is the only metric for success and cancel culture doesn't exist. One YouTube channel chugging along on algorithmic inertia, is not success, it's just an engine driving on fumes. Many will say this is being melodramatic, that my life isn't over, that there was absolutely nothing stopping me from brushing myself off, building back up goodwill and shutting up and playing the game, and I tried that. In a way, I suppose it's good that I did, because I needed to learn the hard way that was never going to work. There is no unfucking this. You can't find the energy if there is nothing left to convert to it. You can't be a better person if you are nothing but the hollow shell of one. 2021 has been the worst year of my life. I am traumatized by it. To this day, I still have people scolding me by how I handled it, that I should have handled it differently, that I should have controlled my stands as if I had the capability to know what any of these people were even saying to strangers on Twitter while I was shitting blood for weeks on end. The worst thing about this whole thing is that I can't even admit this trauma because of all the because of all of the rhetorical devices people have already come up with to dismiss it. That centering my own pain is evidence of not listening. Does it occur to these people that you can listen and disagree with other people's conclusions? That I'm weaponizing my fragile white womanhood or whatever to say that having thousands upon thousands of people who you have never met hate you and say whatever will get them the most updoots is traumatizing. Updoots, lol. Sorry, I gotta laugh at that. The people I used to know would sit there and lie about me on twitter.com to the tune of thousands of retweets and tens of thousands of likes, and I just had to sit there and take it. My favorite are the people who dismiss any potential harm I might have incurred as justified because I am a wealthy white woman. I am not wealthy. While these same people's hearts positively bleed for Britney Spears. And you are not as clever as you think you are. No, you're not. Imagine trying to just spell things backwards to try and troll people. Like, what are you, 13, dude? Grow up. If you're 13, you're not allowed in this channel, by the way. This is an 18+ channel. Children can fuck off. These people don't see how similar these talking points are to the same boomer bootstrap parenting style that I thought most of us had agreed was abusive. That you need to toughen up, accept your punishment, accept that even if the reaction was outsized, that you did something wrong, because when there's smoke, or where there's smoke, there's fire. Grow a thicker skin. These same people who always crow about believing victims, telling victims of public dog piles that they do not deserve to claim their trauma, let alone to process it, because they deserved it. There is no such thing as cancel culture. There is no incentive/reward structure in places like Twitter to call people out. There are no updates/fave/follow/retweets for hotting a take on whomever is trending. Hotting a take. Lol. I have 2 children, by the way. I'm glad you know Pig Latin. Was that what it was? Oh, okay. I don't care. They're a dumbass. They can fuck off. I reread the 2015 essay Hot Allostatic Load for the first time in years last night, and I could not stop crying. Even reading some of these passages now, I can't stop crying. This was written from the perspective of a trans femme and discusses some rhetorical devices used to demonize trans women specifically, which obviously does not apply to me, but some of it is spot on. I hate children. I don't hate children! One of the most common tools of exclusion is through mobbing, which is rarely talked about because unlike rape, murder, etc., it's not easy to pin it on a single person or scapegoat. Mobbing is emotional abuse practiced by a group of people, usually peers, over a period of time, through methods such as gaslighting, rumor-mongering, and ostracism. It's most documented in workplace or academic environments, i.e. key points of capitalist tension, but it is thoroughly institutionalized into feminist, queer, and radical spaces as well. Here is why it is horrible. Number 1, it has an unusually strong power to damage the victim's relationship to society because it can't be written off as an outlier, as some singular monster. It reveals a fundamental truth about people that makes it difficult to trust ever again. People become like aliens, like a pack of animals that can turn on you as soon as some mysterious pheromone shift marks you for death. Swivel on this, buddy. Get fucking banned, bitch. Jesus. Also, you couldn't afford me. Anyway. The insidious nature of emotional abuse. How do you fight ostracism and rumors? They leave no bruises, they just starve you. And number 3, mobbing typically... Sorry, I'm like burping for some reason. I had Coke before. Mobbing typically occurs in places where the victim is trapped by some need or obligation. Work, school, circles of friends. This can prolong exposure to damaging extremes. For these reasons, PTSD is almost an inevitable outcome of any protracted mobbing case. The Isabel Fall case is almost a textbook example about how online mobbing harms people, and how the people who participate in these mobs never engage in any self-reflection. When some people read Fall's helicopter story and questioned the trans bona fides of the author in early 2020, Twitter did what Twitter does and ruined Fall's life, death by a million cuts, no one single person ever beginning to question whether they did anything wrong by jumping to the worst possible faith interpretation of both the text and the author. Coke just makes you sneeze and sweat. What kind of Coke are you talking about? I wish it was the other kind. After a profile written by Emily Vanderwerf was published late in 2021, were lessons learned about the way we use internet mobs to tear down people we don't know because of situations we don't understand? No, one of Fall's detractors, Neon Yang, became the scapegoat du jour, using some of the exact same tactics used the prior year to attack Fall. If you cook 10 meals, you aren't a chef. If you paint 10 paintings, you aren't an artist. But if you kill one person... My favorite variant of that is like, you build 100 bridges, they call you a bridge builder. They don't call you a bridge builder, but you fuck one goat. Don't.
Enjoy your membership.
Soph, babe, thank you for the sub. Tried snorting coke once, but the ice cubes kept getting... I'm easily amused, lol. Not going to touch on Yang's original comments about Fall or the pushback to them, but what was downright charming in its lack of self-awareness about that whole situation was the way people used Fall's trauma to hurt Yang, the way they invoked Fall being checked into the hospital while Yang said whatever about Fall and helicopter story, all while having absolutely no idea of what was going on in Yang's private life. What's particularly galling is how many people accused Yang of sending a trans person to the hospital with PTSD, while apparently being completely oblivious to the fact that they could very well be doing the same thing to Yang, a non-binary trans person. There was no lesson learned on the nature of mindless dogpiling, just Twitter doing what Twitter does, failing to examine systems of abuse while continuing to perpetuate them by laying into a new scapegoat. Simping for your crush. Okay, hands up and hang on. I have to do a poll here really quickly. I need to know how many of you are crushing on me. Okay, go ahead. Again, a quote from Hot Allostatic Load. Feminist/queer spaces are more willing to criticize people than abusive systems because they want to reserve the right to use those systems for their own purposes. At least attacking people can be politically viable, especially in a token system where you benefit directly by their absence, or where your status as a good feminist is dependent on constantly rooting out evil. Within the bounty system, is anyone thinking of a particular group of alleged... Oh, the camera's broken. This one. Feminists? Anyone thinking of a particular social group? Blah-de-blah-de-blah. Anyway. Oh my god, 2 people said nah. What is wrong with you? Okay. Can you imagine not having a crush on me, of all people? When the bounty system calls for the ears of evil people, well, most people have a fucking ear. Something else that was also inevitable, I was going to quit YouTube. I knew I couldn't do it forever, that I was running out of steam, that I was sick of the increasing dehumanization inherent, that I just didn't have anything to say about movies anymore. The plan was always to end with Love Never Dies, since it seemed like the best place to end, with some semblance of energy rather than keeping on until I've withered away to nothing. What happened to me in March and April hastened it, but this was always inevitable. My initial plan was to leave YouTube for Nebula, but I realize now that I was only entrenching myself in a more intimate form of harm rather than the broad buckshot kind that YouTube invites. I won't go into detail, not right now anyway, but I can't do video content for them either. I can't make content, period. I just can't do this anymore. There is no healing as long as there is attachment to the thing that makes you suffer, and the thing in this case being in the public eye at all. This right here is ringing really true to me lately. This particular phrase, there is no healing as long as there is attachment to the thing that makes you suffer. And I'm not gonna lie, this fucking house. Half the reason I need to move, right, is there's no healing going on. I'm suffering in this nightmare. Anyway. I'm sure many of you can probably relate to that, honestly. I'm sure many of us have been in a situation where we want to move on, we want to heal from something that has harmed us, and we simply are unable to do so because of our circumstances. And it's debilitating. It's absolutely exhausting. The other half is you. Abby, they could be gay, but if you're attracted to me at all, you're gay. It doesn't matter if you consider yourself straight, if you consider yourself gay. Attraction to me is homosexual. I take parasitical relationships too seriously to joke and say yes, sorry. As someone who's not on Bird app, this kind of pylon seems to be an intentional design goal. It really does, especially when you look at the fact that ratioing people is such a big thing. Like, legit, someone will have a bad take and then somebody will just go ratio, and you know what a ratio is, I'm sure. Parasocial. I'd fuck Abby, would you? Can relate heavily with the house thing. It's like the problem is I've been in this house for like 5 or so, not 5 years, maybe 4 years. I've been here a while, and in my time in this house in particular, I've gone through some traumatic shit that I associate with the premises, right? So now I want to leave and get as far away from it as I can. Lindsay started to really irritate me, but I don't think anyone can stay sane while getting mobbed by the worst parts of cancel culture. I think she was trying to follow ContraPoint style a bit, which felt too sassy a tone for the situation. Any reasonable dialogue is nearly impossible with Twitter/comment systems. I don't know if I'd say she... Well, I suppose ContraPoints and Lindsay are both friends, so it makes sense that they would bounce off each other and there would be stylistic similarities. Houses do have ghosts, yeah, but they're not... It's not ghosts you can actually physically see. It's just the awful memories that stick in your mind. Anyways, where were we? What I wanted was to quietly disappear, but since this is a platform where people are paying me to make content, I feel like I have to make a statement. If it were just me by myself, I would just sign off and say goodbye and that would be it, but I have a team who depends on my company for health insurance, and including dependents, I supply full benefits for 8 people. And here in the US, employer-based insurance is often the only feasible option. Saying to everyone, sorry about your children, but they can't have insurance anymore because Twitter makes me sad just doesn't seem like a fair deal. None of them incidentally know I'm posting this. So the only thing I can do for now is keep this page active with the loose promise that someday I'll figure something out in the future to make up for this. I read that wrong, but whatever. Hello, Phage, how you doing? While asking you to please stop messaging me apologizing for not being able to subscribe anymore. You don't owe me anything. This Patreon is like my own life and career, just running on fumes. But all I know now is that being in the public eye at all is a losing game, and I regret all of it. I regret every time I've ever stood up for anyone, it always backfires. I regret every time I've pushed back against something unjust, it was always just used to hurt me. I regret every time I stood up for myself, I never did it correctly. I regret every time I showed any vulnerability, just more ammunition to be used against me later. I regret every time I ever tried to play the game with peers and colleagues, they will drop you the second you aren't popular on Twitter anymore. It's all hollow and brittle, and if there is one thing I have learned this year, it is how eminently expendable I am. The good, progressive, cis, straight, wealthy white men keep on trucking and coming out on top because deep down, they know that the systems they profess to stand against ultimately exist to benefit them. And to all the people telling me I need to grow a thicker skin or remove myself from the conversation altogether, you are right. I don't have it in me to do the former, so I shall do the latter. Hope your new year is better than this. Oh, that's... yeah, there we go. I'm just reading that. There we have it. There is the Lindsay Ellis post that was on Patreon. Her signing off from content creation in general, I suppose. And yeah, I am in the same boat of like feeling awful for Lindsay, feeling like this whole situation has just been honestly ridiculous. When I read this initially, I was scared. This is the sort of letter one sends before they do something drastic. It really reads that way, regrettably, but, you know. Like Big Bird, I am vaccinated. We need a bit of levity. Anyway, is it levity? It's levity. Brevity is when something is short. Levity is when something is light. You know, take a bit of levity amidst all the grim. And in conclusion, Danny is fucked. Why is Danny fucked? Or is it, you want me to haunt your house? Well, do we know if she intends to retire from authorship too? I keep forgetting that she's an author. How was my day? My day was eventful. I got to go back to the gym, which was nice. I got to deadlift again. For Jesse's take, let's have a look at Jesse's take. Because, yeah, this is something that sort of happened while I was away. Like, I wasn't streaming, so, you know. Anyway, I know what you're trying to say, and your name is not clever at all. Disgust, not phobia. We know exactly why you're here, and you're not clever at all. And you know why it is absolutely a phobia? Because you have an unreasonable, irrational anxiety towards people like me, and you're going out of your way to harass us on the basis of your discomfort. And there's no reason for your discomfort, thus the irrationality of the whole thing. So quietly, shut your fuckhole and fuck off. Right? Okay. Nobody cares. Anyway, a consistent failing I see on leftist progressive spaces is we fail to recognize why harmful right-wing rhetoric intentionally appeals to misinformation and common sense, and we fail to address people where they are at our peril. Those who do, however, are often held to standards of absolute perfection, and when they fail at perfection because they're human and because they're dealing in messy spaces, we tear them down as our worst enemy. Because we can't beat our enemy, we can destroy our friends, and it feels satisfying. And yes, this tweet is about Lindsay Ellis and not about her at all. It is about her and not about her. It's about the constant and repeating cycle we find ourselves in. The right forces us to fight on their terms because they have the power, and we refuse to let ourselves address it in the only way we can, messily. So yeah, it's a pretty good approach to it. Gamergate tactics poison the well. Yeah, that's actually a good. We took the wrong lesson from Gamergate. Instead of the power of online harassment mobs to destroy lives is terrifying, we should use these effective tactics on people whose takes we disagree with. Right? Fucking hell, Gamergate ruined the internet. How does Charlie Kirk's dick taste? Ugh, I gotta be more careful drinking my water. Anyway, I'm getting through that, by the way. I'm disgusted by mushrooms, but I don't deliberately try to eat all the mushrooms I can find and complain about how much I don't like them. That's literally what they do. These people go out of their way to find people to harass. It's like, you didn't need to be here. You went out of your way to enter a space where you're not welcome, and then get surprised when you're not welcome. That's a you problem, bud. No wonder you have no friends. Like, really, people who have an active social life and who are actually, enjoying their life don't do that shit. I'm just gonna say it right now. People who actually have a satisfying life don't do that shit. They don't go around harassing people for the hell of it. They are deeply disturbed people. Anywho. That was a fun discussion. As a food, mushrooms are good and healthy. As a texture, wet cardboard. I like mushrooms. Fuck. Troll appears. Mods in chat. Type softly and wield a big ban hammer. Smash that hammer down. Fucking why not? And by the way, Vimsy1, who was over here before, made another account and followed again 8 minutes ago. Vimsy_22. You're not subtle, you daft cunt. I can see you, you idiot. You like mushrooms, but only in other dishes, like stuffed mushrooms. Wait, they put stuff in the mushrooms? What? Wonder if Charlie Kirk's dick is as small as his face. Yeah, it probably is. I was gonna say we should watch something. We should react to something. We should do a reaction stream. Should load up I honestly don't have any Isn't it ironic that we just covered someone who was bullied off the internet and now we are getting internet bullies? It's just being a trans woman on the internet. Well, I mean, Lindsay Ellis is a cis woman on the internet. It's just being a woman on the internet. You're not allowed to have an opinion. You're not allowed to speak. You're not allowed to think thoughts and express them. I went to say expel them and express them at the same time, and I got express. As a feminine person on the internet, fem-NBs get this too, especially James Stephanie Sterling. You're not allowed to have opinions. You're not allowed to think for yourself. You're not allowed to express your own viewpoints. Because if you do that, you will unleash a wave of ill and ire upon yourself at your own making, seemingly. They stuff the mushy cat with savory stuff, crab puree or cheese or whatever. That sounds interesting. It's just being a female on the internet. Fuck with the Abby, you get 20 swords in your arms for pleasure. Fifi no think only puppy. Puppy good. Puppy get head pats. Ooh. I have a severe phobia of infants, but I don't go around telling people to stop acquiring them. I don't know, I have a bit of a breeder phobia, honestly. I keep thinking about all of the institutions that are so inherently normalized. Just specifically about breeders. Yeah, I'm gonna trash on cishet people. I don't give a shit. Just the sheer amount of people who desperately want to get into that whole, I'm going to go and find a partner and get married and have a baby. And I'm like, don't you want to experience life for yourself? I say this as someone who has biological children. Being a parent robs you of your ability to do a lot of things. Had Patsu weird. You know, every time someone calls themselves submissive and breedable, I get low-key uncomfortable. I get it. Don't get me wrong, I get it. The breeding meme / fetish, yeah, it's not for everyone, I understand. And it's more the fact that it's very clearly a fetish. Breeder fetishism is absolutely a thing. Whether the person themselves can be bred or not, so to speak, quote unquote. And it has turned into a bit of a meme that made the rounds for a while there. So yeah, most of it is your own infertility. It's kind of, yeah, I can understand that completely. And especially like, I've heard similar sentiment, from, cis women who've had miscarriages, for example. What was it? Oh, somebody made a really good point about that. Like, as someone who has had X amount of miscarriages and has been trying, like, they get triggered by other people coming up to them saying, oh, I just found out I'm pregnant or whatever. And if you were a friend of that person, I just wouldn't tell them. You know, I would just keep that, so at least not be overly excited about it. It's like, it's completely understandable to be excited about the fact that you might be birthing a child in 9 months or whatever. But, you know, if you know someone who is either infertile or has had miscarriages or what have you, it's worth it to consider their feelings a little bit and be a little sensitive about approaching them. Breeding? Are we talking breeding or breeding? Because, like, breeder fetishism isn't just trans women, by the way. Breeder fetishism is just a fetish in general. You know, there are cis dudes who have breed me fetishes. You know, it's, I mean, don't get me wrong, it can, this is the tricky thing, right? Breeder fetish means you want to fuck the chicken nuggies. I'd expand it to not being a cishet man who conforms to all societal expectations. Yeah. If we're going back to the being a female on the internet thing. Sounds like patriarchy. Kids scare me. Understandable. Kids are terrifying. Who doesn't want to fuck the nuggies, though? Okay, genuinely, why are McDonald's chicken nuggets so fucking good? I'm so glad I can't shave offspring. I know you men have, but that's funny to me. Do not fuck the chicken nuggets, agreed. You would love to be able to grow a fetus. Like, I understand that. I understand that. I'm cishet, but I'm pretty resolved to never have biological children. I've been beat up by my own brain enough times that I can't justify passing on. Completely understandable. And unfortunately, I think there are a lot of people out there who really shouldn't be parents. But by the time they figure that out, they've already had kids. Which is and the reason I say that is because usually certain circumstances just prevent them from providing a good life for their kids, I suppose. I was one of those people who never wanted to have children when I was younger. I nearly got a vasectomy at like age 20. Sugar? Yeah, oh yeah, it's the sugar, isn't it? They do come in pleasantly consistent shapes and textures. Fucking chicken nuggets, man. Fucking chicken McNuggets specifically. Calling myself out, yeah, I am. As someone who's experienced it, it's like I have gone through the life of not being ready to have kids and having kids. And I've seen firsthand the trauma it can cause, the division it can cause between parents who are just not ready to have children. But society still has this expectation if you have society still demonizes abortion first and foremost, in a huge way, which would save a lot of people from severe mental trauma. Getting sterilized on demand is super difficult under a certain age, yeah. I mean, the thing is, I was okay to get it. The doctor actually was like, normally we wouldn't allow you to sterilize yourself at age 20, but they were willing to go ahead, and I just buckled and didn't have the balls to go through with it, which I wish I had an orchie when I was that age. Would have saved me a lot of stress. Wanted to get a vasectomy until I found out that it's actually an orchie. Yeah, I want an orchie. I don't need those. Never wanted kids before HRT, but afterwards I felt a lot more emotionally equipped for parenthood. But then I've learned I've been infertile from the get-go, which is awful. I am so sorry. I feel like I'm upsetting people we're talking about this whole thing, and I worry that I'm hurting people's feelings. I hope not. You'll only adopt. I mean, that's a good thing that a lot of people need to look into as well, because if we get into the abortion debate, it almost always comes down to biblical dogma, and the fact that, you know, every sperm is sacred and all of that kind of thing. Every child must be born, and yada yada yada. And it's like there's so many kids who have just been absolutely forsaken by this society. Why are we not encouraging more people to adopt? We should be. Now, you feel you'd be in your element as a stepmother now? Maybe you would, yeah. There's literally instructions for performing an abortion in the Bible. Imagine being traumatized by the fact that you have children you don't want and also expected to care and love for them. Yeah, it does a whammy on you for sure. You know. Every sperm is sacred, but orphan kids are on their own, pretty much. Orphan kids is a child of abandonment, a child left to the foster system, an orphan technically. Perhaps as a foster mother, all you know is you just want to be a mother in some regard, which you can do that. And you strike me as a person who would be in a good position, not a good position necessarily, but you strike me as the kind of person who I would trust with that kind of responsibility. If I ever get married, that would be my plan. Adopt. Why not? Yeah, exactly. Excuse me. I've killed so many sperm. And that's another thing, right? Is like the church and all of that have often gone out of their way to demonize masturbation. On the same token, again, every sperm is sacred. Not a single one should go to waste. That's for making babies, not for wiping off with your gym towel or into a sock. Oh fuck, so we're getting into it now. We're skirting TOS, I think. How close to TOS can we get when talking about semen? Every sperm is sacred. Somewhere, a sock under some dude's bed. Angelic music intensifies. Fuck's sake. My HRT made me sterile as expected. I can't wait to adopt. Yeah, I am definitely sterile at this point. There's no way anyone's getting another kid out of me. That's not happening. Sorry. To anyone who is keen on it, not happening. If you wanted a biological Abigail Beck child, you're too late. You missed the boat. You're shit out of luck. I'm sorry, friend. But anywho, semen. We're just talking about sailors. Yes, exactly. We do think every sailor on the seven seas is sacred. Lord, save them from the old gods of the deep. Maui. You went sterile pre-HRT because of trauma and stress. Aww. I didn't know that was a thing. But somehow I'm not surprised at the same time. I can kind of understand. Because it's honestly, on that note, it's shocking to me in some ways, but not shocking in other ways, that mental health and mental illness in particular can have drastic physical effects on the body. We often... It's honestly really strange that we sort of treat mental health as isolated from everything else, as though it's not the same body. Like our brain is a detached organism that just sits in there and can leave at any time and has to be treated for its own causes independently. When there is evidence to suggest that more holistic treatments can provide benefit. Yeah, there's no separation. It's the same thing. Like, it's the same organism. It's just interesting that some people think you can be completely functionally healthy and still have depression or whatever. And I can tell you for a fact, depression has had numerous physical effects on me. I went to the hospital once. Well, no, anxiety specifically in this circumstance. I went to the hospital with like really severe heart palpitations. Thought I was actually legitimately having a heart attack kind of shit. And it was an anxiety attack. And I got to the hospital. They ran every test they had on my heart. Came back nothing. We've also learned that treating the gut biome can have profoundly positive effects on mental health. Well, yeah. You can go bald from trauma and stress. You can definitely go sterile. It's like a non-essential biofunction. Yeah, exactly. Your body can jettison it. Menstrual cycles get interrupted because of stress. It's true. There is a separation in regards to the blood-brain barrier. Well, yeah, there's that. You know, I deal with eating disorders and shit, which is, you know, that's a really obvious attachment from mental illness to physical ailment as a result. You know, anxiety went so hard after my breakup that I passed out, and the cop checking on me took me to hospital. Fucking hell. Oh, it's that kind of thing that people tend to ignore or tend to not understand about mental health. Is, you know, it's more than just seeing a therapist. You know, I kind of resent when people tell me to see a therapist. I've seen a therapist before, and several times actually, and every single time they've spoken to me in a manner of communicating that doesn't register in my head properly. You know, the way that the therapist is speaking the majority of the time, they're phrasing their sentences in such a way that I'm like struggling to process a response, and as a result I'm getting nothing out of the experience. But also it's not as simple as just like taking antidepressants or anti-anxieties. You know, pills will do X amount of whatever, but they're not going to be a permanent and completely positive solution either. You were put in a mental care hospital because of depression that nearly stopped my heart from working. Fuck. Had such bad depression and anxiety that my parents still think I'm okay. That your parents still think you're okay, or is there something else in there? They legit put you on Seroquel for a while. I've heard of that medication before. Don't recommend unless absolutely necessary. Is it addictive? Is it an addictive drug? Seroquel gave you night terrors. Fuck. I've been on numerous different antidepressants over the years. I don't think I've ever tried an anti-anxiety med, which I probably should have, honestly. But yeah, I've been on numerous of those, and almost every time I've stopped it before I completed like my prescription or what have you. So over the years, I've stumbled across leftover boxes of antidepressants and such. Then you've had some bad... Well, I mean, yeah, I've had bad therapists for sure. Like the one that I had to speak to, and I don't consider her necessarily a bad therapist, but it was interesting to me... Oh no, I've got my wrist thingy stuck on my pants. Hang on. It was interesting to me that like she was... I was sent to her to deal with my gender dysphoria, namely. To like talk over what I was feeling, because that was... still a part of my pre-transition treatment. You know, go see a therapist, go talk it over with Watsy. And I saw them for 6 months, but it was like after the first session I was booking my endocrinologist appointment. So, you know, that's beside the point. But that's the main one I can think of. There were therapists when I was a lot younger, but it was the same kind of deal. It's like we have a certain way of speaking to you that I guess the way that they convey what they want to say is that they'll use language you're not accustomed to in day-to-day life, which causes you to stop and process it, and as a result you're supposed to get more out of it, I guess. But yeah, like that one in particular, you know, we were 4 sessions in to our conversations, so about 4 months into treatment, and I've told this story before. You know, we're going through the motions with the interview and whatever. And she says to me, "You're a smart man, dead name." And I'm like, literally, the reason I come to you is because you know I'm a trans woman. Like, literally established in our first session. And then once my 6 months of, like, prescribed appointments was up, I was like, nah, I'm good. I think I'll stop with that one. I've considered going back to therapy, but therapy is also still expensive, so... Would have fired that therapist? Yeah, probably should have. Parents think that I'm delusional for thinking I'm not mentally okay in the sense that I'm on a down. That's ridiculous. Why would they... They don't sound like supportive parents, honestly. Oh, excuse me. They actually gave you Seroquel because you were having frequent nightmares about your ex and just wanted to sleep without any dreams. Is that a thing that it can do? Danny, are you heading off? I'm cute and an amazing streamer. Thank you. Love you too. I hope you are having a good one. You sought out a therapist when you were first questioning your gender and stumbled into sessions with someone that was basically practicing conversion therapy. That's fucked. Jeez, that's just literally torture. Why is torture still allowed? First of all. Anyway, it set me back a long way. Found a good therapist about 18 months later and it's done me so much good. This is the issue, right? With, especially now, but conversion therapy's been around for a while, right? Is that, there's still an attitude among certain people in the psychiatric spaces, I suppose, or psychological spaces, that believe transness is some form of mental disorder that can be treated and thus that person can be normalized. Which is strictly an idea that, if you are born with... It just boils down to biological essentialism, basically. But they use every trick in the book, every psychiatric trick in the book, to convince themselves that it's right. And these are people that are subscribing to the ideology of people like Ray Blanchard, for example. Which I've been meaning to punish myself by reading Blanchard's work. I know it's drivel. But yeah, just genuinely, they have this attitude that if you don't conform to society's men wear suits and women wear dresses business model, then you are a deviant and you must be corrected. Which is the way that they see it. They think that there's no other way about it. Like you are obviously wrong in some way, shape, or form, despite the fact that, for example, as a trans woman, I am infinitely happier than I ever was pretending to be a man, right? Blanchard's the autogynephilia dude, yeah. Which, by his own definition, a lot of cis women fall into the bracket of autogynephilia. Like, a lot of cis women. There's nothing wrong with finding yourself sexy, There's legitimately nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's healthy sexuality. If you are able to see yourself in a sexual light and be pleased by that, that's not a negative. That's not some creepy fetish. That's totally fine. That's okay. Don't understand how they can grok that with a science background. I don't know. This is the problem of ideologically driven scientific fields, I suppose. Had a therapist try and gaslight me into believing I was schizophrenic. Fucking hell. They challenge you. So hang on, I had an iffy therapist before, but now you're back on track to go back to therapy for your BPD. Well, that's good. If they challenge you and you're uncomfortable, that's a good thing. But if they vibe wrong with you, by all means, seek a new one ASAP. Yeah. I'm cute and you don't know how to start a fight with me. In the ring. Gloves on. Don't find myself attractive because I'm trans. I find myself attractive because have you seen me? I'm hot. Yeah, basically. That's what it boils down to. I'm hot. I know I'm hot. And transgender. We don't use the phrase transgenderism generally speaking, but this is the funny thing is you could probably argue for the use of that phrasing though. But I've generally seen it used by transphobic people, so it's a thing that I avoid. It's a thing that happens with people. It's as normal as some people liking spicy food and some not. Yeah, it's just a thing people do, exactly. There is nothing inherently wrong with being trans, except for the fact that there are people who have a vested interest in telling you there is something wrong with being trans. There's only something wrong with being trans in so much as someone somewhere is benefiting from telling you that there's something wrong with being trans, right? The best therapists you've had have always been hesitant to do any diagnosis themselves and instead confront your symptoms head on. That's interesting. I wonder how that would work. I'd probably need to actually pay attention in my therapy sessions and then write down, because several times the therapist told me to write a journal and I did not write a journal because I'm lazy. 69?
Nice.
Nice. 69? 69. Nice. 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 I do have to call out this person that just had their message deleted and got timed out for 10 minutes. Why are you asking random Twitch streamers what genitalia they have? You just go up to someone on the street and be like, "Hey, you have a penis?" I mean, that'd be pretty funny, actually, not gonna lie. But, do you do that? Do you realize that's like sexual harassment, right? Just like going up to people and asking them what genitals they have. It's sexual harassment. That's bad, actually. Can get you into a lot of trouble. If I was working at the supermarket I used to work at, and I went up to a customer and I said, "Do you have a penis?" I'd get fired. Because that's generally inappropriate behavior. You know. You don't go around asking people what genitals they have. Konbanya. Kihara, how are you doing? Have I said that? Kihara Sakura, have I said that correctly? Mod view being weird for a second there. Do you have a penis? I have lemon pledge. I am 3 transgendered. You're straight, but you do like T-girls, then you're straight. If you're only attracted to women, if you're only attracted to girls, and you're attracted to trans girls as well, then you're just straight. Trans girls are just girls. Hi, Paula, how's it going? However, if you are specifically attracted to trans girls, you might be a chaser. You know. Transgendered as a word is funny because, like, trans people don't use it. It looks stupid. It makes no sense either. What a thing to come into. Yeah, we're talking genitals now, apparently. Now it's cold. Now it's freezing here. I'm gonna turn that aircon up a little bit so I'm not freezing my tits off, which I totally actually have. Thanks, hormone replacement therapy. Based. You know, there was a funny tweet I saw that, like, every cis man comes programmed with a built-in cup size that he's never gonna know unless he gets on estrogen. Like, every man is a pre-programmed cup size. Right? Genetically. It's written in your DNA. Your body knows what size boobs you'd have, and you're just not gonna know it. There's a thought for ya. What I do mostly use the session to work out the most complex things and apply what we went over between appointments. Also have some books I have read that you might like to read, perhaps. Good one by a Holocaust survivor and how he found the purpose to survive the suffering he endured and witnessed. I do like the way Jordan handled that Neuraxis of Awesome coming out song. None of your fucking business. Yes, exactly. I love Jordan. Which is really awkward. Honestly, I really do. I love Jordan. Jordan's fantastic. But I was talking about Jordan near a friend recently. And that's their dead name. Oops. I'm not gonna say who it is. You won't know them. Maybe you will. I don't know. But I was like, did they just walk past and like, did you just dead name me? And I'm like, what? No, I'm talking about Jordan Raskopoulos, the comedian. No, what? I was very confused for a moment. Strawberry milk, fuck yes. Based. I gotta get on the strawberry milk train. Why have I been neglecting strawberry milk? It's the best milk ever. I'm gonna have cornflakes with strawberry milk. Fuck you. This isn't even my final form, me explaining my gender identity. You cannot stop me. I have gender. What do you got? Oh, I didn't even thank you, Forlorn, by the way, for the 69 bits. I should do that. I should be nice and actually thank you for the 69 bits you gave me. Very cool. Very poggers, actually. Thank you kindly. You absolute legend. I am not going to hit payout for... I don't think so. I really don't think I'm going to hit payout for Twitch by the 15th. Sorry, I just looked at... Why am I looking at my revenue? What am I doing? Did you know? And I don't know how much Twitch actually enforces this. Technically speaking, you're not allowed to show your revenue. You're not allowed to share your revenue around on the internet, which is strange because I've seen Zach Busey do it. Is it Busey or Bussy? I don't know, but if it's Bussy, that's hilarious. He did a video where he showed he did a test stream running as many ads as he could in like a 4-hour period or something like that to sort of get a gauge on how much ad revenue you would make from maximizing ad usage. And he was just like it was recorded on stream, I'm assuming, on Twitch, and then it was a YouTube video after the fact. So I'm assuming they don't enforce that rule of don't show anyone your revenue too hard, because he was able to do it. He was able to just show his revenue there and then demonstrate exactly how much money he was making from ads, for example. Because you can actually schedule your ad breaks if you're really that dedicated to having ads running on your stream. You can schedule your ad breaks, which would be convenient if you had the production value to actually pause for ad breaks and do and I don't know, black the stream out for a moment or something. I don't know, what would you do? Because if you're running ad breaks regularly, I guess if you could do something specific for subs behind the scenes or something, I don't know. Also had that YouTube has such a rule, which is strange because, again, I've seen YouTubers talking about their income, and I'm like, do they get reprimanded for it? And yeah, union, exactly, Box. There should be a content creators union, honestly. The amount of people I've seen who really desperately want Twitch to change their revenue split so that streamers get more. Streamers should just fucking unionize, but we really can't necessarily. A lot of people who do regular ad breaks use the time to interact with subs like as a special time. It's time for special time, subbies. Sit down, kids, and I'll read you a story. A story that none of those non-subs are allowed to listen to. Filth. I have either 3 genders or 1/3 of a gender, depending on how one likes to categorize it. Gender is weird. Gender is completely fucky and nonsense. And once you realize that, I think once I realized how fucky and nonsense gender was, that was the barrier that broke down, and I'm just like, oh shit, I could just be a chick, hey. Why the fuck am I doing this dude thing again? This sucks. Because, gender is made up. Gender's nonsense. It's just nonsense. Get down on your knees, subs. Don't make me get the chain. I have a leash over there. You know. Gender is fucky, and then you realize everything is fucky. There once was a woman from New South Wales. Yeah, I did the fun thing, and I went and did a social science course. I didn't finish it though, because I'm an idiot. But anyway, I'll be a good girl. I don't have my flogger yet. I've got a lead. I need my flogger. No, let's stop talking about BDSM on Twitch. But anyway, yeah, a lot of people, it's the same as the biology thing. Hello, how are you? Welcome in, Dark Joke Boy. It's the same as the biological, the biological sex thing, the biological sex argument. It's gender is weird and complicated. There's a lot more to it than just mans and womans, right? There's far more to it. But in school and in general upbringing, you are taught that there's mans and womans and boys and girls. And that's the end of the discussion, generally speaking. For most people, they just accept that and they move on. Because school doesn't really... Well, actually, no. I was going to say school doesn't really bother fucking around with that any further. You know, they just tell you there's boys and there's girls. But no, actually. School does continue to reinforce that binary quite rigidly. And I'm talking about primary school here, grade school. So you've got the boys and the girls, and the boys go in the boys' toilets, and the girls go in the girls' toilets, and there's the boys' sports team and the girls' sports team, despite the fact that boys and girls could, generally speaking, play on the same sports teams until they hit puberty, and there wouldn't really be any significant advantage aside from bodily structure. If you're... And I mean, primary school kids are generally not playing tackle footy, for example. Let's use that as an example. They're probably going to be playing touch footy. where they just run, touch the other person, then that person's got to drop the ball, or however football works. I don't know. But, you know, in primary school sports, for example, they still segment that by boys and girls as well, and they do that with numerous other things. School absolutely reinforces this binary idea of gender. So troll, why would you engage? Because it's fun to watch them try, because they're so pathetic, honestly. Me, an intersex, non-binary, gender fluid, trans person. You know what? Fuck you. Unbinary is your gender. Opposite sides of a die will always add up to 7. It depends if the die is made correctly, yes. There is definitely tackle football for children in grammar school age. Well, there you go. I don't know. It's been how many years since I left grade school? I don't know. I don't think D20s count. Speaking of, I just threw some out today. Well, I didn't throw D20s out. I threw out some. I definitely threw out some tabletop die though, because I went through that wardrobe over there, and I cleaned out a bunch of junk that was just sitting on the top shelf doing nothing, and some of it was dice and tokens and cards and things that have just been doing fuck all for fuck knows how long. So it's good to be rid of it. You have a D100, that thing rolls for... Fucking hell. Once you're down here, you can replace them at PAX. I don't want to replace them. I want less stuff, not more. We'll see how we go. I really don't want to get into the habit of collecting more and more things again. I've had that habit for too long. There's so much junk here that I want to dispose of. Which is going to be hard because, yeah, like, I filled up 2 garbage bags and now my garbage bin is full. So I got to wait till like next week before I can throw more shit out. Basically. You do like the formation from the Science of Discworld series regarding educators. Liar to children is a well-respected job, and well-made lies to children have actual educational value that prime them to understand the more detailed reality in the future. Interesting. The problem is when people never learn past the lie to children. Well, that's basically how it works, isn't it? You know, as much as I respect my mother as a teacher, at the end of the day, we have to accept that, you know, her job and the job of other teachers as well is to get kids ready to enter the workforce when they're grown up. That's what school is. It's not really about. I mean, yeah, there are some moral lessons you can learn. There's some ethical lessons you can learn, but it's just get ready to spend the rest of your life getting to work by a certain time, wearing a uniform, doing the thing according to society's rigid rules, you know. And school does that better than anything, especially here in Australia where schools are uniformed, whether they're public or private. You know, I know over in the US, at least as far as I'm aware, schools are not specifically uniformed. So, you know, once I'm down there, you're gonna get me hooked on Gunpla. Yes, let's do it. Let's build things. I want to build silly robots. You miss your D&D group. Half of them are COVID contacts though, so they're isolating. That fucking sucks. Yes, all the awesome people are in another state and I'm not there. Give me money for Melbourne people. I've dropped the goal down to 200 for the time being, by the way. It was on 500 and I'm like, that's a bit of a lofty goal. Let's set it to 200. Most US schools do not have uniforms. There you go. There are uniformed and non-uniformed schools. There we go. There we go. On the subject of COVID close contacts though. I was in a place, I'm not going to say where, but I was walking down a pathway towards a shop, and along the way, I see 2 bearded, unmasked blokes, you know, standing outside of a fish and chip shop, talking rather loudly about, like, to summarize, like, oh, yeah, Gavin's got it. And then the other guy's like, oh, yeah, I heard Trev's got it too. And they're just standing there loudly going on about their friends who got COVID. I think one of them might have even mentioned, oh yeah, Trev didn't get the vax, eh? Neither of them are wearing masks. I'm walking past with my mask trying to give them as wide a berth as possible. And I'm like, please, a lot of people are dying all of the time. Can you cover your stupid face? Don't want to hear you. It sucks, dude. Like, but the problem is, like, oh,
Your gift
Mrs.
to our
Miniac,
patronage
thank you
is
for
most
gifting some tier
appreciated,
ones
friend.
to Grimthorpe and Miss Glitchka. Reminded of the song I got it from Agnes. Thank you so kindly. Oh my goodness. That tips us over today's sub goal. Nice. Nice. Let's do it. Wonder, how old were you when I became a girl? 1. 0. When I was born. I've always been a girl. I am a cisgender transgender girl. It's very complicated. Oh, where's my little... There it is. Hang on. I'm just going to do something really quickly because I can. Because I'm this kind of person. I'm sneaky. 5 when I knew what gender differences were. Yeah, -1. I hate this. Look, my alternate camera is broken. Anyway. Technically, like, since people are born at 0, yeah. The unfortunate reality of the situation is I definitely had an inkling when I was a child. When I was a teenager, I knew for certain. And when it took me until I was 30 to finally transition. Which sucks. That honestly sucks quite a bit. You know. Even with them just talking, there's enough shit coming out of their mouths, they could at least wear a mask. Have some common courtesy. Wear a mask, you dickheads. Detroit, how you going? Had some bogan guy give me shit for giving him a wide berth. I told him back up, Plague Walker. I don't get it. I don't, like, it just... We were talking about this before. We didn't really get into it, and we should get into it. We should get into the COVID discussion. Hello, Emma. How's it going? We should get into the COVID discussion, especially the rapid antigen tests and the whole what was it? There was a thing that I had up, and I've gotten rid of it. Vox, what question? You think you know what bogan means? It effectively boils down to, I think, some variation on redneck, like in the US, effectively. To summarize, like, but not quite. I mean, it's hard to say specifically. A hick, kind of. They're very much working class, blokey kind of people. They like to drink a lot and they have a very laid back attitude. To summarize. Also, somebody wants to buy my Oh, hello. Okay. Somebody has expressed interest in my $300 The Last of Us statue, and I am interested. Anyway. Often seen as uneducated or poorly educated, men tend to wear beards. By the way, MK, how are you doing? Hello, hi. How you going? It's going very wet. Got up, took a shower, waited for it to stop raining to go shopping. As soon as I was out the door, oh no. Lucy must want to watch too. Lucy's one of the baby huntsmen. Aww. God, how do you define a bogan? Yeah, how do you define a bogan? Australians in my chat, how do you define a bogan? Right? They have a certain manner of speaking. I'll say that much. They speak in slang. They tend to be really invested in like football and cricket and racing. Yeah, Australian redneck's a good way to put it. They tend to work in like physical labor jobs like construction or like plumbing or those kinds of things. Yeah, how am I doing? Oh, you've been so busy you forgot to message about today, tomorrow. Probably not gonna happen this week because my girlfriend is sick with potential COVID and she's isolating, so we can't even go anywhere, which sucks. You love the piercing? I'm glad you like it. So yeah, it basically, I'm trying to describe it effectively, and they tend to be, yeah, like beer drinking and carefree attitudes and you know, that kind of thing. Just they tend to wear tank tops and board shorts. I'm thinking mainly bogan men, honestly, but there are bogan women too. UK has chavs. Formed how men talk in shops, and it's okay because he didn't mean it. Wait, let me go back. What have you said, Detroit? Have a fellow employee call me a FAB yesterday, and he was able to keep his job, and he said it so angry. Fucking hell, no. I would file a harassment report on that shit. Jesus Christ, that's fucked. rednecks in the US are a varied group, and that's kind of the same thing here. It's like bogans again are a varied group. Like they're not all the same exact people, but there's a general stereotype. A content creator on YouTube that's a lefty redneck. I've seen. I think I might know who you're talking about. Forget what his name is. Goodness, it escapes me right now. We've watched a couple of his videos. They're usually pretty short videos, and he covers a bunch of lefties. Is it Bo of the Fifth Column? Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he's cool. I know what an essay is, but I think you're thinking of an essay, which is another Australian stereotype. Bo of the Fifth Column. You're in touch with HR. My manager told me I shouldn't have went over his head. Fuck that. Fuck that. Your manager is insecure. Your manager is trying to keep their own job. I will tell you right now, they are doing everything in their power to prevent you from escalating this. Anyway, he does play into the redneck stereotypes a bit to try and get through to other people that look like him. That's understandable, and that's actually admirable. I do appreciate that kind of thing. I had a conversation earlier today with Anxiety. I think that's how you pronounce that. Forgive me, Anxiety, if I've said it wrong. You might have heard of her. Because she posted a Twitter thread that I didn't realize must have gotten a bit of heat, which was talking about the Harry Potter reunion thing. We had this little back and forth about how I was apparently patient with her and commenting on the Harry Potter tweet. And she reflected, spoke to others in the community, and learned that the tweet was wrong, like talking about how some people wanted to watch the Harry Potter reunion thing. And I guess, in me responding to her thread and elucidating, why the whole Harry Potter reunion thing makes certain trans people uncomfortable, I was able to breach that gap. And I think breaching gaps and allowing people to reflect and open their minds a little bit to different ideas, people's different perspectives, is a good thing, of course. HR is there to protect the company. Yeah, unfortunately, employees are never considered to be, people of agency within a company, unless they're making significant money, perhaps. Reminder that redneck is historically a name for leftists in the US. It originated with a strike action that turned into military conflict, where the labor activists wore red scarves. The slur is there's a slur redneck that's older than that. It's interesting because there's two different etymologies to redneck, and over time they've just sort of blended. And I've seen that happen with a number of other different terms of, there's two different distinct phrases there's one distinct phrase that people associate with a certain idea, and there's multiple etymologies to it that are completely distant to one another. It's an interesting concept. Meeting people where they are is a good tactic, dependent upon certain circumstances. Like, I consider Anxiety to be a good person, generally speaking. And it's entirely possible that she just didn't understand the harm at a deeper level that the Harry Potter thing could have, the effect that could have had, right? The reason some people might have been angry, which I didn't really see that particular side of things as it was going on. But there are other people, of course, who, you can't really meet them where they are. Regrettably, there are discussions that are not going to be productive in any way, shape, or form, which is like most approaches with reactionaries. So, you live the redneck life for a few years trying to fit into a very rural town. You are honestly the town's token out trans woman. Oof. How did that go? I'm interested. I'm curious. But in the meantime, I'm going to take a quick break because I need to pee and need to refill my water. So don't go away, folks. And I was actually Vox. The depiction of Jewish people was on my mind today for some reason. I don't know why, but I just had this thought flash into my head of like, yeah, okay, J.K. Rowling is a transphobe, bad, but holy shit, the goblins. Jesus fucking Christ. Anyway, BRB, don't go away, folks. I love you. Oops, I didn't turn my mic back on. Hello, 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 hello. What's going on? I'm back. How's it going? What's doing? What's happening? What's hanging? What's hanging? How's it hanging? How's it hanging? Long, loose, and full of juice? I hope so. Anywho, wait. Someone showed me a clip yesterday, and I have to admit the fact that Harry is standing on a floor with an inlaid Star of David. Yes, that's not even a word of a lie. Yeah, let's have a look for a second. Like, this is really just... Oh my god, there's an article. Yeah, it's right there. Where is it? Like, I can't find a good picture of it that's really blown up or whatever, but that you can see it there. You can see it there in the middle of the... And you know what sucks? You know it's really just like fucking annoying? One of the first things I see... Hey Diz, how's it going? When I search Harry Potter Goblin Bank Star of David, the first result is debunking the Harry Potter anti-Semitism myth. And I'm like, nah bro, come on. You serious? There's no way that was a coincidence. This is the moment, it's the same shape as... It's not exactly the Star of David, but it's the same shape as one, yeah. Like, you can just, like, observe it. We're going to do it without audio. Yeah, there you go. Right behind him. Did you see it? Is this obviously anti-Semitic caricature anti-Semitic? Let's find out. It's not actually. Okie doke. Gather it's from a real bank? Maybe. Maybe it's possible. Anywho. The book series in general, like, people just need to get over Harry Potter. Quite frankly, it's not even just the fact that J.K. Rowling is a cringe individual. She's an annoying, frustrating person that we have to keep listening to every so often, right? I'm sick of hearing about her. I'm sick of talking about her. I wish she'd fuck off to a mansion in Scotland and just write her garbage books and stop posting on social media about how much of a threat an extreme minority of queer people is to women, which we're not, by the way. And no, I wanted to stop writing books on that note. Just stop talking. Just ugh. Harry Potter isn't even good. I remember being a young person thinking everyone else was going gaga over this stupid book. Yeah. It was mediocre when I was reading it as a teenager. I was reading through them and I got to like book 4 or 5 and I'm like, nah, I can't be fucked with this. Stupid wizard book for babies. Pretty much. It's honestly baffling to me how prominent they've become. They've become in terms of social relevance. They're just mediocre. Maybe it's just... Think of how dumb the average person is, and then realize half of them are dumber than that, isn't it? That's what it boils down to. Carlin, hello Eka, how's it going? But the wizard people, dear reader, is really, really funny. Wait, what? Even as a book, it does not deserve this level of hype when there's so much better out there. There is so much better out there. The last 3 books are like goddamn awful. They really are. I don't know if I read the last 3 books, actually. I think I got part of the way through Half-Blood Prince. And then I stopped. I read the first 4 or 5 or whatever. And you know what annoys me, though? Is the amount... Like, this is really just a nitpick. But the amount of people who are like, oh, it really appealed to those of us who were the odd one out, who were the weird kid, the unusual kid. Harry Potter was an incredibly popular jock who was fucking loaded and then went on to become a cop. Like, he was not a weird kid. He was a weird kid among, like, the human muggle society, whatever. But when he got to Hogwarts, everyone fucking loved that dude. Are you kidding me? So he had a few bullies in Slytherin. Everyone else loved Harry Potter. Fuck off. He wasn't a weird kid. And he supported slavery. Like... It's commentary track recorded by Brad Neely doing an impression of Stephen Jesse Bernstein over the first Harry Potter movie. Oh, okay, I see. Never read the books, but I thought the movies were pretty good at the time, though the house elf thing always rubbed me up the wrong way. The house elf thing is particularly disturbing because it's just outright slavery, and the books paint it as though the house elves like it. Like, they actually enjoy being slaves. And then they turn Hermione into this raging blue hair and pronouns SJW in the later books, trying to free the elves, and the elves don't want the help. And she becomes insufferable. And it's like, quite frankly, J.K. Rowling is one of the most misogynistic authors of our time. Genuinely. And she's a woman, allegedly. Meanwhile, me as a weird kid who was ostracized for its Tourette's. Bullshit. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Read all of them in a week on a dare. Why would you put yourself through that trauma? Stuff like the Sorting Hat. As the Sorting Hat grinds on Ron's head, it belches forth a declaration. There was actually a legitimately good joke in Family Guy recently, I think it was. Where the Sorting Hat parrots out some transphobic garbage. Just you know, one of those cutaway gags. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was fucking hilarious and actually funny comedy from Family Guy. House elves like slavery. Yeah, that's why Dobby was fucking ecstatic when he was free, pretty much. Family still drags me to these new awful Harry Potter movies. Oh god, why? Disown them! Get a new family. Move away from them. They're awful. Just toss them in the bin. Move on. I hate to break it to you, but your family sucks. There are just better franchises, honestly. There are far better franchises to invest yourself in. Get them to watch Evangelion or something. I've enjoyed some of the dissections of the Fantastic Beasts series. It's pretty evident that Rowling has no idea how to write... is she writing the screenplays for those? Or is she at least involved in the screenplays for those? The fucking Animorphs books are better than Harry Potter based. Dobby was just the weird one. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Dobby was the weird... I want to say goblin. The weird house elf. And all the other house elves you were introduced to wanted to stay slaves for whatever reason. And they found some justification in the books for it. I don't remember what it was. Maybe they found slavery was their purpose. Maybe they had food and board or something. I don't know. The Sorting Hat actually did put Harry in the house he identified with by choice. Oh my god. You self-ID'd your own house. I always felt the way they buried Dobby in the back garden was like they considered him as a pet. Fuck. True though. A British person justifying someone else's subjugation saying no, that's not offensive. We're allowed to shit on British people. As someone who is descended from them, I give you permission. Hello, sweet cream potatoes. How's it going? Can't stand Eva personally. I mean, I watched it. I watched through it recently with my girlfriend. And we got through the main series, then End of Evangelion. We haven't watched the rebuilds yet, but I've heard those are interesting as well. And, excuse me. It was weird. It was not enjoyable. It was good. I was just confused throughout a lot of it, but it got to a point where I'm like, okay, I need to see this through the end now. You know, I'm just playing with my mask. Sorry. That's for you, folks. No one has done that in a while. You've been better. Yeah, pathetic. I mean, the pathetic moment with Asuka was pretty funny, actually. But yeah, I got to a certain point where, like, at first, for like the first half of it, genuinely, I was really confused about everything that was going on. Yeah, stop spamming chat, cunt. And I think it was just past the halfway mark. I'm like, I need to know how this ends now. It was a lot of fun at the end of it. Have I watched Serial Experiments Lain? Feel the same way about Lain that Eva fans feel about Eva? No. I've never heard of it, honestly, but I could give it a look. I'm a woman saying the C word, actually. The plot is a mess. The plot's all over the place. And then you get to the last two episodes, and spoilers. it was weird. There's a reason that End of Evangelion is a thing. Because the last 2 episodes are like, I don't know what happened there. But, you know, you get to episode like 24 and there's this big climactic thing and you're expecting a conclusion in the next 2 episodes. And you get a really weird sequence that makes little sense. Yeah, Gainax ran out of money, right? They had no budget left for those final 2 episodes, so they threw something together, which was just, yeah, I don't know. If you like psychological mindfucks with a purpose, I can't recommend Lane enough. Well, I'll try. I'll think about it. I'll consider it at least. Regarding the films, Rowling is the solo screenwriter for the first 2 and got someone to help on got someone on to help starting with Secrets of Dumbledore, which is this year's release. Are people actually that invested in Fantastic Beasts? Like, I haven't heard... honestly, all of the Harry Potter related shit is still the Harry Potter shit. If I go and I see someone wearing Harry Potter merch, they're not wearing Fantastic Beasts merch. If I go to, like, pop culture shops that stock things, they stock Harry Potter things. They don't stock Fantastic Beasts things. No one gives a fuck about Fantastic Beasts, it feels like, which is good. You know, yeah. And I've heard the second one was arse, so, you know. The screenwriting legit doesn't work. Lol. Hilarious. LaMayo. Lamau. She deserves to be cast down from her iron toilet or whatever. Quit watching anime, you just can't do it anymore. Like, one of the reasons I actually did agree to watch Evangelion was the fact that it ends at some point. Half of the reason I don't watch a lot of anime is because they've got that long-form soap opera format of like 4,000 episodes. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I cannot do this. No, I will not get into One Piece and you will never convince me. Oh, Lupa. Did I see the BS attempt she did at naming magic schools for other countries? I think I did spot that on the Twitters. And it's hilarious and sad and disturbing. Because I think one of them in particular, I think it was the Japanese one, she literally named the school something like Magic Place in Japanese. And then did the same for like South American wizard school. Just took some words that roughly translate and then just put that over. So here's, I don't know what the actual names for them were. Can you find them for me? There was a lot of completed footage they couldn't use because of similarity. Oh, Gainax, you're not talking about, sorry, you're not talking about we're jumping between mediums and franchises. I'm getting confused. A lot of completed footage they couldn't use because of similarity to a real-world terrorist attack, if I recall correctly. Mahutakoro. Well, the animes I've seen, the popular ones I've heard of generally tend to be the ones that go for ages and ages, but I know there are shorter ones. Magic Place, the South American one was Witch Castle, and Africa was, as far as I can tell, just ripped off the name of a capital city in Mali. Fuck. It's bad. We can just critique this all day without ever having engaged with it outside of this. I love it. Not even as good as Mahora Gakuen. There we go. So yeah, just literally Magic Place. Oh, a capital city in Burkina Faso. There you go. That's just lazy. Watch the ones that don't go on forever. I could, but then it's another thing I have to invest my time into. I've got housework to do. She straight up just cribbed stuff from Lord of the Rings. That doesn't shock me, honestly. You get it. If you engage yourself in enough fantasy fiction, eventually you're going to see lots of things nicking stuff from other things. Oh, what made you quit? Wait, what made you quit what? Hang on. Oh, excuse me. Oh, you quit watching anime because... Oh, okay, I see. Worst Witch and Kiki are better anyway. The Whomping Willow, Longbottom Leaf, etc. Yeah. Well, I mean, this is the things. Like, a lot of modern fantasy fiction and stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and all of that. Yeah, like Lord of the Rings sort of define the fantasy genre. You're right. Like, there's so much that modern fantasy fiction uses that's just from Lord of the Rings effectively, and just contorted and twisted in different ways. J.K. Rowling and George R. R. Martin have something in common. They're both bit Tolkien style. Effectively, yes. And I'm keen to see, actually, on that subject, what kind of influence on a broader scale George R. R. Martin had on Elden Ring. Because what I've played of the network test was an interesting deviation from what I'm used to with like Souls and Bloodborne and Sekiro. There's enough difference in there that I'm like, this is going to be an interesting narrative approach that From Software is going with. Tropes are useful. If you use a trope as a shortcut to communicate something complicated to further the story, it's useful. Well, that's true. I can agree with that sentiment. Love that Lord of the Rings didn't do the anti-Semitic goblins. They made them kind of a lanky, smaller orc. I don't know enough about like the orcs and goblins and stuff of the Lord of the Rings. I've only seen them as the generic enemies in the movies. So, is there a synopsis for Elden Ring yet? The general gist is your level up waifu, from what I can tell. You get introduced to this in the network test. Needs to get to the base of the Erd tree for reasons, and you are going to guide her there. So you traverse the lands between, lighting little totally not bonfires and fighting bosses and doing stuff and dual wielding twin blades, because you can do that. They've brought back power stance and I am so fucking keen, you have no idea. And there's a jump button, but you can't swim. Sadly, there's no swimming in Elden Ring, unless they've done the thing they did in Sekiro. Spoilers for anyone who hasn't played Sekiro. You can't swim until you get to a certain point in the game, and you unlock an item that allows you to swim. You just literally get an item that allows you to swim. Previously, water would just kill you. Does it have an easy mode? It doesn't have an easy mode, but there are changes to the combat that I think will definitely make things easier for new players. For example, there is a block function now where you block with your shield, you take a hit, and you immediately follow up with a heavy attack. And that, like, you hit your heavy attack, or you hold your heavy attack for just like a second after taking a hit to your shield. So you've got all the defense of your shield to block the attack that just came, and you can follow up with a counter attack. And it's honestly a really intuitive, really easy to use function that I think is going to bail a lot of players out in terms of like, this enemy's really hard, how am I going to beat them? Just use a shield. They've made shields a lot more effective, as opposed to like previous games where, you know, learning how to dodge was the name of the game, basically. If you did a shield build, you're just asking to take damage. And I think that thing in particular, that one feature in particular, is going to make things a little bit easier for a lot of players. While they've still retained things like the parry system and all of that. Those are still in there. And of course there's co-op. So there's no specific easy mode. From Software doesn't add difficulty modes to their games. But there are a bunch of things that will definitely make the game a little bit more easy to get into, I think. I think From Software have heard the criticism of their difficulty and have decided to implement certain features that, again, it all comes down to just pay attention to the tutorial. You will notice there are certain things you can do that'll make your life a little bit easier playing the game. Good night, Fox. Have a good one. I personally found it not terribly difficult overall. Playing the network test, I got through quite a few of the bosses in the available area. So, at the very least, early bosses in the game are not overly difficult, you know. There's definitely some racialization going on in Lord of the Rings too, though, especially with the Haradrim, but also with the idea that Morgoth could create a race that's just inherently evil. Yeah, it's a bit of a that's a bit of a grim concept in general in fiction. Honestly, that was something I was thinking about earlier. The fact that so much of fiction, and I guess I've seen a bit of a shift in this narratively. Radio Echo. I've seen a bit of a shift in this narratively, but broadly speaking, so much of fiction relies upon, so much of conflict fiction relies upon an inherent, unforgivable evil, which is a really messed up concept when you think about it. Like, I've been around people that have caused me harm, but I know for a fact that those people are not inherently 100% evil top to toe. Just because I've had negative experiences with certain people doesn't mean there are certain people, certain social groups, certain whatever, that to their very core are actual evil. That's a thing that fiction often skims over, for the sake of making the narrative more approachable to the layperson, I guess. Is it's easy to just have a target you can hate unequivocally and not feel guilty about. I'm taking my spacebar off because there was like one tiny bit of dust I could see sitting under there, and it was annoying the piss out of me. Anyway. Where are we? In Japanese culture, physical contact is frowned upon, particularly public displays of affection. Though at the time, skinship is a thing. What's skinship? Where are we? I have enjoyed the other FromSoft games. Well, I mean, yeah, I'm excited for it. But even as a... Let's put it to you this way. I played Dark Souls. I played Dark Souls 2. Then I got my hands on Bloodborne, and it took me ages to get into the rhythm with it. I played through Bloodborne, and I greatly enjoyed it. And I played through Dark Souls 3, and I greatly enjoyed it. And then Sekiro came out, and it was incredibly difficult for me to get into it first. With Elden Ring, stepping into the network test, it felt really accessible. It felt like a game that's not overly difficult to play. And it has a tutorial which teaches you how the game's mechanics work, which is a hallmark of any game designed to be played. So... even as a fan of the franchise, as you can tell, I'm not getting the statue that comes with the Elden Ring Collector's Edition, by the way, which is probably a good thing. But I'm not going to be able to get it. But anyway, you played Bloodborne for a few hours and you don't think you managed to kill anything. What? Not even trash mobs? Not even like the main enemies right there in the first street or whatever it is. You can also look at it as being sympathetic to the people who you're fighting. It's not their fault. They've been taught to hate by someone in power. Oh, yes, exactly. It's also very easy to view that as seeing them as inherently evil. Well, true. Yeah, it is complicated. It is complicated. But fiction relies on simplifying that relationship. Well, a significant portion of it. Which is why I think Game of Thrones, to a lot of people, was very refreshing. And don't get me wrong, Game of Thrones wasn't the first to do this, but it was a mainstream blockbuster TV series for a good long while there, where you're introduced to characters that you immediately think these people are horrible, vile, evil individuals, and then the series goes on to endear those villains to you in different ways. It goes to show that they're more complex than just like, ha ha, I am the mustache-twirling villain who will tie the maiden to the train tracks. Like, it's clear there's, it's refreshing when villainy is not so cut and dry. Even still. I'm confused, Diz. Did you spend like hours in the character creation menu, which I totally understand, by the way. I do that. There's layers like onions. Might be trying to defend Tolkien. I genuinely think his work is valuable and I want him to be more nuanced than simply he was racist. We did go over this recently and we ended up getting into why H.P. Lovecraft was so racist. Which, I mean, fair. H.P. Lovecraft was a flagrant racist. Sub goal rising. Can we get to 10? Can we hit 10? Can we hit 10 subs? Poggies, come on. Can we get a can we get a hype train going in chat? I think I deserve it. I'm depressed. Give me money. Now. Give me subscribers. Cause I'm at 78 and that's fucking miserable. I'm below 100 subs. Can you believe this shit? I will do a subathon. Don't test me. Okay? I will do a subathon. Fuck you, I'll do it. Did I even... Yeah. How do people think I'm hot when I sound like a man? I'm just gonna degrade myself. Fuck you. You just kept getting killed over and over again. Don't recall doing any character creation. But for hours, though? How many hours did you do that, though? I'm confused. Because, like, the first enemy you can fight, you're supposed to die to him. Then you go to the Hunter's Dream. You pick a weapon. Like, you get forced to do this. And then you're supposed to equip your weapons. And that enemy is a lot easier because now you're not just fighting him with your fists. He's nuanced and a good author. I love his work and his languages and his world building. Just pointing out the racializations there too. Which is... I really don't want to say like it's a product of his time. You know, I don't want to say that kind of thing. I feel like that's deflecting a lot of the blame away from people who were racist. You know, one has to concede that racist people are racist. You can't just write it off as like, oh, it was just a product of their time. It's like, there were other people of their time that were not racist, though. Yeah. Almost everyone does live in their time, though. Yeah, true. There's literally a Hitler or Lovecraft quiz, and few people can get all the questions right. Yeah, we went through that, but we didn't finish it because it just kept going on and on and on and on. But yeah, it's kind of hilarious. We did do the Hitler vs Lovecraft thing. Yeah. I should do a subathon. Problem is I need to find something we can do to make, like, I know some people will do a subathon and they'll just be like, oh, if I get this many subs the stream extends for an hour or something. But then we need like an actual content format. I'm literally just sitting here yapping for the second night in a row without doing any news, without doing anything in particular. I'm just gonna flex my, like, look at that. I always thought scripted battles you can't boundary break away from don't count in no death runs. Well, yeah. This is the thing. It depends. How are you, Tago, by the way? Belated New Year's wishes to you as well. Welcome back, Amanda. The only one I can think of, like, if we're referring to Bloodborne and Dark Souls and stuff, Dark Souls has a scripted battle you can't, in a regular run, you can't escape it. You're meant to die there. You don't have a choice. But you can boundary break that one. So for speedruns, people avoid that inevitable death and jump around him. But anyway, they jump off the elevator in Duke's Archives onto a floor that they're not supposed to get to yet, and then proceed the rest of the way as normal. Happy New Year, Slacker. There are people of that time who were not racist but said and did racist things because it's just what they've been steeped in their whole life, like people who recognize that owning people is wrong but still use the N-word, for instance. Well, yeah, like obviously society has greatly improved on that front, even if we still live in an incredibly racist society, an incredibly prejudiced society today. Things have gone quite a bit further than that. Been describing Lovecraft as the J.K. Rowling of his era. Well, the difference there is he never got massively popular and wealthy off his writings. So, you know. Anyway, remember dying to the first big dog thing, then you picked up a weapon, and from then on I was in those first few street rooms and kept dying. Tried a few different ways but could never kill anything. That's interesting. I'm curious to see how... This is why I like watching other people play FromSoft games for like the first time. I should do that, actually. I should go and see if there's any more people playing. We should raid somebody who's playing a FromSoft game for the first time after we finish stream, cause it's interesting to me. I like watching people play Dark Souls for the first time and Bloodborne for the first time and all that kind of thing. There's always someone who hasn't played it, and there's always someone who's willing to do it as like a challenge stream. I've never played these games. I've heard they're really hard. I'll play it for the first time. And that's entertaining to me. Doing good, slowly crawling out of a post-breakup depression. Aww. Working out, losing weight, taking better care of yourself. Good, good, good. We were just talking earlier about like holistic health. How working on your body and your diet can benefit you mentally as well as physically. So, you know, here's to some big W's in the new year for you, Taker. Context of the time is partly the lens one needs to use when examining people from the past. Particularly with Lovecraft, one needs to consider that even for his time, he was particularly racist. He had a lot of really, basically bad takes. But anyway. So what's the thought? H.P. Lovecraft was totally a closeted gay man? Where'd that come from? I mean, I could see it, I guess, but like, you know. Like US-centric, I know Abraham Lincoln didn't actually free any slaves with the Emancipation Proclamation. The only slaves freed by it were the ones in the rebelling states. They weren't even takes, they were books, yeah. You know, just his general viewpoints on the world were pretty bad. Always laugh at folks saying From games are ultra hard. Like, I grew up on Nintendo. From games give you a variety of weapons and let you recover your points when you die. True! If nothing else, From Software games are kind of a return to classic game design, just upgraded for a newer generation of gamers. They're designed to be particularly challenging, of course. You know. So slave states that were in the north, the slave owners got to keep their slaves. Yeah, I think so. I only have a very loose grasp of his life circumstances that gave me that idea. I honestly wouldn't know. I know bits and pieces about Lovecraft's writing. I know the synopses of his books. I haven't read them. For all intents and purposes, I've heard they're not even that good, and there are far better fictional works that are based on Lovecraft's mythos, basically, that just do it far more justice. So those are things I'm interested in getting into. I honestly like, and I know I've been saying I want to declutter, and I really do want to declutter. But after I move, you know, after I get out of here and after I've gotten rid of 90% of my stuff, I would like to get back into reading books regularly. And there are a few books that are on that list of, you know, Lovecraft-inspired works that I would be interested in reading. Yesterday was fun. Went through 4 games in one day, one of which you had never heard of. One is one of your all-time faves, and one you haven't touched since the 90s. Based. That sounds like a good day. Sounds like a very good day. I've got laser tomorrow. And that's my day. The day ahead of me is getting my face lasered. But yeah, like I was definitely one of those people who tried to get into. Well, I played quite a few harder games when I was a kid, but a lot of the games I played when I was a young child were more accessible ones. Hello, Snarky. How's it going? Feels like you haven't seen us in ages. Well, here you are. You're welcome into the new year. How are you doing? Got very into his personal life for a few days that led me to that conclusion. Personal letters and such. Oh, okay. What kind of books do you like to read? I want to read horror fantasy, honestly. I like the idea of reading horror fantasy. And like feminist literature and stuff would be nice. Theory. I'd like to get into theory. You know, leftist theory. People building better stories off Lovecraft is why I make the comparison with Rowling, as people make better fanfic just discussing the stuff even with no interest or talent in storytelling. I heard that in the late 19th century in Denmark it was fashionable to have a same-sex relationship when young instead of dating, because that way no kids. You want lasers fired at your face? Well, you can get it done. It costs a bit of money. But you can get it done. And in a week's time, I've also got to get my legs done. So that's fun. For the first time. I'm getting my legs done for the first time. And legs, full legs, is fucking expensive. I got it half price and it was $100. So, you know. Theory is so boring to read. You stick to lectures and video essays and deep dive text if something is particularly interesting. I mean, that could be the go. Some people continued their relationships into adulthood and were considered childish. That's interesting, to say the least. The way society looks at sexuality is bizarre and fetishistic. The way that we are told there is an acceptable way to be sexual is really disconcerting. Clearly we need laser tag, get depilatory and work out. Yes, I'm down for that. Interested in horror sci-fi because despite my love for fantasy, your favorite novel is actually sci-fi. I'm not 100% on horror sci-fi, honestly. Like, I like it, and the isolation of space is just perfect for horror, honestly, because where are you gonna go, right? You're in danger, there's something on a ship with you or whatever. Who are you gonna go to save you? There's no one. That's absolutely terrifying. Like, Alien is really good for that. But I've only got so much tolerance for space-related stuff. Well, I mean, obviously there's sci-fi. You could do horror sci-fi on Earth, obviously, or on the ground in general. You could do horror sci-fi in any setting, realistically speaking. But a lot of it does tend to take place like on a spaceship among the stars, and the hyperspace drive is broken down, and there's an alien on board the vessel, and it's gonna eat us all. Or this actually, Event Horizon is one of my favorites. I really like Event Horizon. So where blah blah blah. Your aim is terrible. I unironically, here's a fun story for you. I did laser tag one time, and I swear to God, my gun didn't fucking work. So I got pissed and I walked out. Mid-game, I just barged out of the fucking area, and I'm like, nah, fuck this. I keep dying and I can't shoot anyone, so I just like, nah. Never went back. No, mum, I'm not gay. It's just fashion. As an autistic woman, I don't really understand what other people think sex is. I just don't understand why people put so much emphasis on whether or not someone is having it, or how, or just anything. It's really honestly strange, and I'm the same. Like, I like sex, I like sexuality, all of that kind of stuff, obviously. Anyone who knows me could verify that, could vouch for that. But, you know, and speaking of sex and sexuality, at least I'm having way more sex than Big Lenny over here. Anyway, it is really weird how much emphasis society does put on your sex and your sexuality and what you're getting up to in the bedroom, when at the same time, society generally likes to value sex as something to be done privately. It's like, okay, we're in our room, consenting adults minding our own business. Why is it that anybody should care what's happening behind closed doors? It's got nothing to do with you, you know. Laser tag experience sounds like my Bloodborne experience. I don't know how. I'm not trying to deride, okay? I'm not trying to be mean. But I'm like, how did you not kill anything for a few hours? I don't get it. I don't understand. Try again, please. It's a good game. It's worth playing. It's QAnon BS. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so funny how people like have jumped on this Let's Go Brandon thing. It's like, wow, look at you, big man with your big political stances, hiding behind a dog whistle because you're too scared to say fuck Joe Biden. Ooh, so brave, bestie. Wow, look at you. Let's go, Brandon. You're so cute. But even then, saying fuck Joe Biden does what exactly? At least take a stance. Like, have an opinion or something. You're just parroting dog whistles. Who cares? That doesn't even have any meaning behind it. It's not a slogan that has meaning behind it like Black Lives Matter. That has a meaning behind it. Fuck Joe Biden is just like, I'm Angie the president. Cool. Who cares? You're boring. Get a hobby. Be interesting. Read a book. Things attack you and you can't hit them back. You absolutely can hit them back. That's the whole point of Bloodborne. It's not gatekeeping. Don't get me on this. Don't make me die on this hill. Bloodborne has a mechanic in it called Rally, right? When you take damage, a portion of your health bar will show orange for like a couple of seconds, right? The portion where you've been hit, you've taken damage. You need to hit the enemy back immediately, and Bloodborne is very generous with that window because it wants you to start attacking the enemy back to get your health back. That's a huge portion of the gameplay mechanics. And it's the reason why blood vials are a limited resource, for example, unlike Estus in Dark Souls, which replenishes every time you go to a bonfire. Blood vials are a thing you have to keep stocking up on. And the reason is they want you to use the rally mechanic or not get hit. So, like, all the reasons to dislike Biden are the same reasons to dislike Trump, pretty much. And imagine thinking leftists give a shit about Biden. Imagine thinking Australian leftists give a shit about Biden. I am mildly pleased that Trump didn't get a second term, I guess, but realizing a reason that someone might have a lot of trouble with Bloodborne at first. If you don't know how to get your first weapons and don't equip them, well, yeah. I think the game is slightly... The way they laid out the tutorial for a lot of Bloodborne is a bit messy. Because, like, you get dropped in the Hunter's Dream after you die to the werewolf, and a lot of the tutorial bits are just scattered around. And unless you stop to actually go and explore Hunter's Dream, which is not big at all, don't get me wrong. But it's not very linear and direct. Like, Bloodborne's tutorial takes you through Yosefka's clinic, and there are notes on the ground that give you the gist, right? That understand. But honestly, like, there was a clear path in the clinic, not so much in the Hunter's Dream, which shows you a lot more detailed tutorials. And Elden Ring does that better, because the way FromSoft has been doing their tutorials, at least since Demon Souls, is leaving messages on the ground that you're supposed to look at, and you're like in any other video game, you see like a little sparkle, or you'll see some little in Bloodborne's case, it's this little like sort of gaseous looking thing, the messengers, and you got to go over to and interact with it to see the tutorial messages pop up and tell you what you're doing. Elden Ring corrects this. You go through the tutorial and it actually stops, flashes up a prompt that says, here's what you need to do, like pretty much any other video game, right? Which is a huge step in the right direction, because you know, in Dark Souls, it's much more obvious when a message is on the ground. You see this bright, glowing orange text, and you get curious. But Bloodborne made a weird aesthetic decision in making the messages show up as just like a grey blob, which could blend in with things. I don't know why they did that. They should have made it a little bit more obvious. Maybe like a glowing blood puddle, but that's when you die, so that doesn't work. Anyways. I do agree that he's better than Trump, but it was still picking between two racist rapists. I'm amazed that he won because he has no charisma. True. Anyway, you had weapons equipped. You don't remember any tutorials. Yeah, that's the main issue with the tutorial in Bloodborne. Is it's pretty. It's easy to overlook it, I would say. Let's go, Brandon. We need to pick up your first pills for HRT. So proud of him. Finally getting on testosterone. Go, Brandon. Biden was just the not Trump option, pretty much. In a two-party system, you either vote for one or against the other, pretty much. Does Sekiro have prompt tutorials? Actually, Sekiro does. Sekiro does do the thing where it actually flashes the tutorial up, I think. Yeah, it does. I'm pretty sure it does. If I recall correctly. I haven't played Sekiro in a while. I need to replay it. I've played Bloodborne through so many times. I'm replaying that again. Gradually. I can't even finish the playthrough now because my girlfriend has to isolate and I can't keep playing it for her. Someone told me about the attack back thing. It's literally just once you take a hit your attack button after they've hit you, right? Because I know it'll look like they're going to try to hit you again, but you do have some time in there to hit your attack button. You need to time it properly. But yeah, it's a pretty large window. It's a pretty decent sized window. I don't mind me. I'm just like looking at my own muscles over here. Hi. Sorry. I did deadlifts today. Fuck, that felt good. I did 5x5s. Actually, my last set was 5x4. Just feel like I'm rambling about fitness for a bit. Kind of have to giggle when I hear "Let's Go, Brandon" because that's my eldest nephew's name, and I have to wait for that kid a lot. We're having multiple conversations in chat at the moment. So many people are passionate about Trump. No one was passionate about Biden. Exactly. That's kind of the worrying thing. Is like if there is a 2024 Biden If Trump runs again in 2024, which I suspect he will, he's got enough of a galvanized base that he's definitely got a pretty solid chance of getting in. That's the issue with the Trump side of things, is his followers are fervent. You know, they are with him through and through. And that's, can he survive until 2024? Hope not. Has to run. His choices are to destroy democracy or go to prison. Yep. And that's scary. That's a terrifying thought. When I want to deal with difficult fighting, I do ODR/Sangrider runs. I don't know what that means. I do want to play bullets per minute, though. It looks cool. It does look cool. Describe it as a huge window. You are not as stun locked as you think you are. I will say that. The animation for how long you're stunned is longer than you realize. The animation is longer than the actual stun. So you can take a hit and be like, ugh, and it'll look like you are unable to do anything, but you can react in that time frame. You suspect Tucker Carlson is the next president. Good lord, I hope not. But like, Bloodborne has got... what weapon did you choose, actually? It's also worth considering, like, how slow is the weapon you picked out, because you've got the Hunter Axe, which is really slow. Excuse me. Fuck, I can't blur. Does that stun lock refer to real life? I hope not, because as soon as I'm in Melbourne, I plan on joining a fighting gym. I don't want to get stun locked IRL. Yeah, I'm going to do the typical trans girl thing and join an MMA gym. Let's fucking go. I'm going to beat people up. You chose one with a gun after a different one. Well, you get a choice of a melee weapon. There's 3 melee weapons at the start, and there's 2 guns you can choose from. A fighting gym, any martial arts specifically? Taekwondo, actually. I want to do Taekwondo. But in terms of fighting sports stuff, I don't know. I'd have to do more research. There's a lot of evidence he'll run. Totally believe that the former head of the KKK will be president one day too. That's fucking scary. Judo and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu both sound good as well. Like, grappling arts would be nice. Not just in the ring. Anyway. So those are the play all characters who do not participate in the health mechanic at all. If you take damage from any source, you are dead. Okay, that sounds like Ghost Runner. Who played Ghost Runner? Ghost Runner's good. You're gonna hit the hay. Thank you, chat, and thank you, Abigail. I'm Abigail. I'm glad we could help you out, Fox. Felt awful the past couple of weeks, and now you don't. Well, good. Good. I'm glad you don't feel awful anymore. That's what we want. We want people to not feel awful. That's what this place is for. And these past couple of days have been pretty good for that. Like today and yesterday, in terms of streams, have been good for just chilling out and not worrying over much about the news. I know we should do the news. The news is a big part of this stream, but like, honestly, it's good to spend nearly 3 hours, or more than 3 hours, just chatting about shit. Just casually getting thoughts out into the world. There is a bit of a wild card, namely that COVID and that Trump supporters are disproportionately more likely to not be vaccinated. It's scary how much rich old white men control the world. Like Scott Morrison, yes. And people think there's no such thing as white privilege. Okie dokie sweets. You know. I have to rail against those who think there's no such thing as privilege for a moment. Because, like, what do they think privilege means? I'm curious what they think privilege actually means, if not exactly what they are experiencing. A capacity to be ignorant of other people's problems, which are directly influenced by systemic institutions. Scott Morrison is the current Prime Minister of Australia, and nobody likes him. Recently realized with high certainty, still need diagnosis, that I have low support needs autism, so yay! Got a 3 for trans ADHD and autism. Oh, hell yeah. Get it. Gotta catch them all, right? Supposedly tomorrow, all the vaxxed will begin dropping like flies as 5G something stupid. So So it's possible, this is a grim thought. Excuse me. It's possible, depending on how many Republican voters end up dying to COVID, that Republicans could be wiped out in the midterms and 2024 elections. What's the likelihood of that, though? My answer to privilege. Bigots don't harass and try to ruin your life. That's the privilege. Not having a target on your back from the KKK. It's not a free lunch, it's fewer enemies. Pretty much, yeah. You know, the people I've seen who say, oh, I've got no privilege. I don't have any privilege. I don't know what you're talking about. They're generally the kind of people that don't face any real struggles, any real obstacles. And more often than not, I'm going to say it, they've got first world problems, you know? Their issues are things that can be resolved with money, generally speaking, and it's not exactly difficult for them to get it either, you know? Oh, I've got issues, I've got problems. Everyone's got problems. Yeah, but some people are forced into lines of work that are less than desirable just to get by because of the circumstances of their birth or something. You have the privilege to be with this lovely community. That you do. You are more than welcome to stay here. Naturally, Red, our main Communist Party, had a bill out for fixing the issues. Oh, hang on. Our privileged scandals here in Norway right now is about legislators getting official apartments in the capital despite having homes inside the defined radius where you can commute. Naturally, Red, our main Communist Party, had a bill out for fixing the issue several years ago. There you go. You got problems. You were only able to afford a 32-inch monitor. It wasn't even 4K. Oh my god, rip. Holy shit, that sucks. That's so bad. The COVID vote in the next election is there's people trying to figure out which places will have flipped. I don't expect we'll have a good picture of it until we know the candidates and have the first round of polls done. Yeah, true. Republicans have no problem trying to scare liberals out of voting, and they'll be successful. Yeah. And, like, wasn't Marjorie Taylor Greene, before she got suspended from Twitter, literally advocating for any means necessary to prevent Democrats from voting? Which is just, like, it's just the writings on the wall. That they are absolutely unequivocally fascist and proud of it. They do not want democracy. They do not want states where people can actually have their voices heard. They don't want people to be voting. You know, they would rather one party stay in power forever, and they're gonna try to fucking do it. It's a wonder it hasn't happened already, and I am fearful what might occur if that does end up happening. So, what do we do here? She wanted Democrats moving to red states to be barred from voting, probably period, but she said for a cooling off period. Yeah, okay. Okay, Marjorie, sure, we believe you. Absolute lunatic. Oh, we're in the beginning of it. That's what it seems like. It's grim, and it's gonna get much worse. Oh, in the process of a coup / yeah. If you can get a passport, get it. Gonna need a dip. I'm heckin' tired from today being stressful. So am I. I'm pretty stressed, honestly. I'm not even the one with COVID symptoms. And I'm stressed. I'm anxious. Fuck. Jesus. My problems mostly stem from being a poor and disabled woman. My skin tone is nowhere near that list. Yeah. So there's been going on for a while. Assad took the capital for an afternoon and hasn't surrendered. I think I already know who the 2020s fascists will be targeting for their death camps. And by who I'm referring to what minorities. Oh, I can see it. I can picture it, and it's earnestly terrifying. What do you fucking do? Voting obviously doesn't work, so what do you fucking do, right? What's the objective? What's the end goal? How do you change that? How do you shift that? Especially terrifying when you know that Donald Trump and his supporters are not just based in America. I have seen marches for Trump in Australia. And I'm like, what is that saying? What's that mean? People who are out and out supporters of blatant fascism, who are, exist beyond the walls, beyond the borders of America, and who are absolutely devotedly loyal to a guy who has no power over their governance, personally. Like, that's a worrying thought. What happens next? Who fucking knows? And it's very easy to just want to detach yourself from all this kind of stuff. I get it. Don't get me wrong. I totally get it. Even if you don't trust voting, there's unions. Unions historically do have political power. Bad Bunny's idea on how to change things seems to be for more people to join and get involved in unions. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Voting does work, but it needs everyone every year, not maybe every 4 years if you really like one person. Yeah, like Australia has mandatory voting. Australia has a system where you need to vote or you cop a fine for it. And don't get me wrong, there are people who have just got the attitude of like, oh, I'll just take the fine, whatever. But generally speaking, it does get people to the voting booths. So, you know. We're nearing the 1 year anniversary of Antifa actors storming the Capitol. 2 days! 2 days until we can celebrate a disgusting act of fascist terrorism. From inside the house. Party hasn't existed under this name that long. Excuse me. But red is very much the Labour side colour here. You've heard Trump was in favour of the Vietnam War and his daddy got him out on spurious bone spurs. Yeah, he's literally a draft dodger. That's fucking hilarious. In a sad way. It's funny, but I'm not laughing. Ugh. Anywho. Should we move on to something else, Grims? Since we've got it. Since we're here. We've got... Is there another article that's not... what's it? News.com.au? Rules for thee, but not for me. Yeah, pretty much. Same as it ever was. Same as it ever was. Rapid antigen test price gouging under investigation, but ACCC says no evidence of widespread abuse. What up, Toe? How's it going? Can understand dodging the draft. It was legalized slavery. Well, yes. But still cowardly by comparison. It's cowardly to be someone who is pro-war, but not willing to go and accept the draft. You know, that's the stance. Anyway, the Consumer Watchdog says it is investigating reports that COVID-19 rapid antigen tests are being sold at excessive prices, but it has not yet seen evidence of widespread price gouging. The federal government asked the Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, the ACCC, to monitor for price gouging following several incidents in... I can't read! Fuck! Several incidents of individual rapid antigen tests being sold at several times their regular price. What's the rat situation for folks overseas with the rapid antigen tests? Do they have them overseas? Is this an Australia thing? I don't know. Do you folks have them over there? How easy is it to get rapid antigen tests if you need them? ACCC Chair Rod Sim said the watchdog was now investigating, but so far he had not seen systematic price gouging. It's very early. At this stage, we've done our own web searches and seen excessive pricing, but most excessive pricing we've seen so far is individuals on eBay, Kogan, Mr. Sim said. Everyone's low on tests, which is not surprising. Really, they're extremely anecdotal, so we want to get a hold of the facts here. He said the ACCC would contact eBay about the rapid test price gouging it had seen and expected they would help to remove the listings. But Mr. Sims indicated it was unlikely the ACCC would pursue court action against price gougers in the first instance, saying the watchdog had more success in threatening to name and shame businesses. Clearly, we're dealing with a problem here of unlimited duration. Of limited duration, therefore we need to get those prices down now, he said. However, Mr. Sims said that reports of businesses opening multi-test kits to sell the individual tests at marked up prices were appalling behavior that the ACCC would be very interested in pursuing. He noted that in the middle of a pandemic... Oh, please don't tell me we're in the middle. I was hoping we were close to the end of this shit. I know we're not, but you know. Oh, anyway. He noted that in the middle of a pandemic, blah, 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 such behavior could constitute unconscionable conduct and result in court action. Team Spirit, you're a racist. Anyway, like masks and toilet paper, rapid tests being stockpiled. Rapid antigen tests have been difficult to find since some cases of COVID exploded across the country last month and the kits became part of the official testing regime. Because the chest... What are you going on about? Why does the Queen have higher mobility than the King in chess? Because the chest... Oh my god. What are you people? Were you like 14? Get out. The government has been accused of failing to prepare for a predictable rise in demand for rapid tests. Well, duh. But I think the problem here is that there's just not enough anywhere. There's not enough production of them. But I can't verify that. I don't know. Anyway, Australian Council of Trade Unions, ACTU Acting Secretary Liam O'Brien, has slammed the federal government, saying the ACCC has been left to clean up Scott Morrison's mess. The fact that the ACCC has been forced to take action to stop unscrupulous operators ripping off Australians desperate to get their hands on rapid antigen tests is a shocking indictment of Prime Minister Scott Morrison and his total failure of literally anything. What does Scott Morrison do? He literally does nothing. Anyway, what's real fun is, don't quote me on this, but I've heard South Korean government will look at your gaming history, and if you're a fan of violent video games, they'll say that you're not a pacifist and force you to register for the military. Wait, what? Yeah, they're called toe sucker. Yeah, exactly. Right. Anywho. A few months back, some test factories switched to destroying their stock because they'd overproduced, and capitalism demands they'd always be a little short so prices stay up, which is fucked. It's fucked, I tell you. Why not have excess stock and sell them cheaper? You're still going to make money. You know, there are people that need these things. The cruelty is the point. Anyway, leadership on rapid antigen testing. Rapid antigen tests must be free and accessible for all Australians who need them, just like they are in the UK and the USA. Hello, Ali. Mr. Sim said it was not clear to him whether there were supply issues or whether the shortages were similar to previous rushes during the pandemic, such as for masks and toilet paper. The fucking toilet paper thing, man. There was literally no indication that COVID was going to make you absolutely blast your asshole every minute. But people were stockpiling toilet paper when the pandemic hit. And it was fucking stupid. You couldn't get it anywhere. You couldn't get toilet paper literally anywhere. Fucking ridiculous. When you're in a pandemic, it's awfully tricky, Mr. Sims said. And I remember in the early days of the pandemic dealing with the toilet paper issue, obviously people were stockpiling it, and there's an issue with stockpiling at the moment. Do you remember the story? I think we covered this. Or at least we referenced it at some point. The guy who was stockpiling tons of toilet paper and sanitizer and all these other things that people were needing, and he was trying to sell them off after stock started coming back to stores. And nobody was buying it, so he had spent so much money buying up all the stock of all these things people needed and then tried to sell them at a markup. And I think he got reprimanded for it, actually. Which was fucking great. But clearly demand is outstripping supply. How much that is due to freight and logistics, and how much is due on the demand side to stockpiling, I just don't know. More than 84 million rapid tests have been ordered by state governments for the coming weeks, which the federal government hopes will sate demands. The government has urged anyone with evidence of what they believe to be excessive pricing of rapid tests to report the business to the ACCC. There we go. Also, the price gouge is buying up TP to sell it. Should have made the writing larger, huh? Yeah, I can't. What does it say? Trans rights. Yeah. It's a little small. It's a little small. Anyway. Scott Morrison has recently redefined close contact so they can artificially lower the rates, just like what they did with unemployment states. Yeah, funny that. My country recently went into a second lockdown in the stores. Here we're running low on toilet paper again for a few days. People really are dumb. They really are. You don't need to hoard toilet paper. It's okay. It's a really stupid thing. You don't need to hoard toilet paper, you dickheads. Mum thought food was going to be scarce, so we bought all this food, most of which was eaten by my drug-dealing brother. Well, that's a pain in the cunt, isn't it? If I'd wanted a rat, I'd leave a wedge of cheese under a large cage that drops upon the cheese being disturbed. Well, I was fortunate enough to get one today for Maddie. But unfortunately, the reality of the situation is she tested positive on the rat. So we're stuck now. We have to quarantine for a bit, which sucks. I hope she's okay with me telling you that. I should have asked, actually. That's bad. But anyway, you know, the unfortunate reality is I'm now playing nurse. Because I want my baby to get better, so I'm taking care of her as best I can. I don't have any symptoms. I didn't get a test for myself. I probably should have, actually. Yeah. The TP thing was because there was a rumor that there was a crucial ingredient to toilet paper that came from China, and closing the ports would cause a toilet paper shortage. Really? I knew something about, like, I heard some people were just like, oh, all the toilet paper we have is imported from China or something. And that's why we're going to have no toilet paper. It's like, no, that's not what's going on. Crucial ingredient, what? Trees. Do I have an outfit, preferably in latex? I've got many outfits. I don't have any latex, though, sadly. I know nothing about latex. So glad that I got a girlfriend less than a year after coming out, and then you got one a few months later. Not just that, but I've also got other people interested in me too. Is that gloating? It wasn't about the sickness giving you diarrhea. It was really silly, which I think is confirmed to be a COVID symptom now, but still. It's not going to be diarrhea to the point where you need, hordes and hordes of toilet paper. I do recall, though, on the subject of bidets, though, when the toilet paper crisis was ongoing, there were so many people who were just like, "Oh, you guys should get on the bidet thing, mate. You guys should get bidets," as if people can just afford bidets all the time. Yeah, that's an easily accessible option. Just get a bidet. Just install one. All right, you gonna pay for it? $300 even at Costco. We had the issue of people stockpiling masks in the household, but that was people not telling others they had them. That's annoying. That's really annoying. No one's been interested in more than a fling besides Moon in over 5 years. Oh goodness. Well, I'm happy for you, Baz. I have found that people like me for some reason. I'm just going to say that. And you need to install it yourself. And you need to install it. If not yourself, then more money. Yeah. There are other bidet options, but still, that shouldn't be the default response. Don't get me wrong. I think I'd like a bidet. I think that'd be a neat idea. But it's like, not everybody can just have one. It's like, it's really stupid when someone's like, "Oh, why didn't you think of getting a bidet 4 years before the pandemic happened?" What? Who's gonna predict a toilet paper shortage? Who's thinking of that in particular? Been slowly building a stockpile of masks because I just buy a box of masks every time or two I go to Costco. I should get some more, actually. I'm running out. Masks are good, actually. Excuse me. Oh, hey, you watched that. You don't know if you mentioned last time. You enjoyed that. Good, I'm glad. I should do another video essay at some point. There are a few things I want to think about and I want to talk about. But I think I'm not going to do a video essay until I've been reading a bit. I have not been reading. I have not been keeping up to date on things. I've been scrolling social media and trying to clean my house out. So I haven't been doing, like, educating myself on things. And as a result, I feel like I'm slowly losing what little intellect I had. Because it's hard to motivate yourself to do stuff like that. I mean, even that video in particular wasn't overly sourced. It was largely personal anecdotes that I felt would be potentially relatable to people, like myself, largely. Speaking of masks, there's a couple people who are making them. I'm tired, sorry. I've been up a lot all day, and I've worked out. I'm exhausted. Giving them out for free in your old town, so that gave you a little hope. That's good. That's good. Why don't you own a bidet? Because I'm renting an apartment. My mask supplies drain much more slowly than I built them up. Well, that's good. Don't think bidets are more expensive than a regular toilet. I'd like to get one, but still, one does not replace the toilet very often. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Kindest, calmest, cutest, empathetic, and understanding person on the planet. Aww, that's cute. I think I have booked my booster. I think. Or at least I know when I have to get it. I don't think maybe I haven't booked it yet. You can buy a bidet that's just a seat replacement. I do know of those, yes. I remember seeing a video essay that covers the history of Australia's action, mostly lack thereof, on climate change. That wouldn't shock me. The aforementioned $300 thing at Costco. Oh, there we go. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised that somebody has probably covered that. I mean, I've seen a lot of things that are just like, hey, Australia fucking sucks, actually. Here's why. Australia fucking sucks, and here's why. There are good things, don't get me wrong, there are good things, but there is so much ignorance governing this country. The Australian government, folks, did a good one on behalf of all governments everywhere, if I recall correctly. Why would you follow me, dude? Why would you follow my stream just to come and try and insult me? Why would you even bother? What's wrong with you? Okay. Do you have a link to that essay, Popcorn, by any chance? That's just sad. Look at this person. That's just sad, dude. She's got problems in her life and lots of gaza, but she's not depressed. Seriously, someone who's not depressed wants me. How is that possible? I was ruminating on I was ruminating on depression before, and I'm like, holy shit, how is it that there is anyone in our society that is not horribly depressed? Dude, our society fucking sucks. Why am I wearing a tank top? Bro? Because I lift? I don't know. It's just a tank, mate. In fact, this is in men's sizing. Like, you're wrong. I'm not a man, but it's just a tank top. Women can wear tank tops. Here we have these really unnecessary idiots gendering clothing for some stupid reason. Oh god, clothes don't need to be gendered, by the way. You can wear what you want. Imagine being restricted by what you wear. Holy shit, cringe. Imagine only wearing the clothes that society deems you worthy to wear. Cringe. Absolute cringe. Do they think cotton has a gender? The lowest effort transphobes appear on Twitch. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Net zero by 2050. Oh yeah, I think... Oh, don't stop playing. Net zero by 2050. I think, did we see this? Whatever, we can watch it anyway. I'm tired and I can't be bothered putting in the energy anymore. Forgive me. This is Maddie's here. These are Maddie's earbuds. Where's my earbuds? I don't know where I put them. They're gone. I'm stealing them, Madeline. Do they not know that black tank tops make everyone look hot regardless of gender? Actually, I do have a black tank top from the women's section, which is really fucking hot. It's just like, if I wear it without a bra, watch out. Okay? But like, look, it's just a fucking tank top, dude. It's just like, literally, I bought this when I was mask presenting. Like, it's just a tank top, man. Just like, chill. Are you really that mad about a tank top? Imagine being so triggered by a fucking tank top. We need that gif of Bart dropping the U-Tried cake in the trash. I'm actually so glad that Twitch chat doesn't allow people to post gifs in chat. No, I don't want that. Okay, let's have a look at this. Here we go. Honest government ad. Net zero by 2050. I feel like we've seen this, but we'll watch it anyway. Or at least I might have seen it on someone else's stream. Alright, go. Play. Not the music. Stupid play button on my keyboard.
From the government with an update on how we're handling the climate crisis. We know you're all counting on us to solve this problem so humanity can keep enjoying its favorite pastime, continuing to live on this planet. But you see, we've realized that we are the problem. And so how should we put this? We're actually going to get us all killed. Look at this graph shaped like a penis because it shows how fucked we are. This is where we are now. And as we can see, it's already pretty fucked with massive fires, floods, heat waves, locusts, scientists. Bullshit. This is what scientists call the stop here or we're fucked point. And this is where we're currently headed. Or as scientists call it, net fucked by 2050. The good news is we've promised to reduce our emissions. And if you take all our promises and add them together, that puts us on track for still very much fucked by 2050. And that's if we keep our promises. A big if, since some of our biggest promises are being coke-blocked by corporate coal shills, while others are nothing more than blah blah blah, or a plan printed on a pamphlet. Pamphlet? Our promises and pamphlets are also based on the hope that we'll offset our emissions with technologies which don't work or even fucking exist. Or with technologies that do work and exist, like trees. Except trees need time to grow, which we don't have. And space, which we also don't have. Plus, trees can burn, which seems to happen a lot these days due to climate change. And when they do, they release all that carbon they captured. Which means the only way we can keep our promises is to stop emitting carbon. Are we doing that? God, no. We've been subsidizing it at a rate of $11 million per minute, which discourages investment in renewables by distorting the market. And that's why there's a huge gap between our promises and where we need to be. We don't talk about that gap because that would entail a complex process called being honest. Being honest would mean admitting that we're failing, and we can't do that because then we'd have to stop failing. That would mean ending fossil fuel subsidies and banning all new gas, coal and oil projects. And to anyone...
How long did she practice this for? Goodness me. Like, the exaggerated mouth movements are honestly impressive.
One suggesting harming our precious children like that, we say, how dare you? So being honest isn't an option for us, which is why we've come up with the next best alternative. Net zero by 2050. Net zero by 2050 means that instead of being honest this decade...
Why is she suddenly Bad Bunny? I'm just all of a sudden Nicole. Hello.
By taking this path, we leave the being honest part to the last minute by taking that path instead. As you can see, both lead to net zero in 2050, but they're very different journeys, because this path adds this many emissions to the atmosphere, and that one adds 3 times as much.
She isn't actually doing the... Well, yeah, I know, she's lip-syncing.
And since emissions are what's causing the planet to warm, that means crossing the stop here or we're fucked point, which risks setting off irreversible chain reactions beyond our control. That's the exciting part of running an experiment with the only planet we know that supports life in the whole fucking universe, just so we can make a few billionaires even richer. Net zero by 2050. Anywho, feel free to take over from us at any time. Cause as you can see, we're captured by the fossil fuel industry, compromised by our moral failings and lack of vision, and probably going to get us all killed. This has been a message from your local government franchise. Goodbye.
Authorized by the Department for blah blah blah.
Oh, that's sick. Okay. That's actually fucking sickening. I hate it. Thank you. No, it's funny. Greta cameo. Yeah, it said that in the title, and I was waiting for it. Anyway, we like Greta Thunberg. Yeah, I love it, but I hate it. Like, it's a big part of me is just like, my kids are gonna hate me forever, even giving them a life. Because there's not really much promise on this rock, is there? It's easy to get dejected, and it's easy to get depressed about everything when you realize how much longer do we have. You know, the people who are growing old and dying right now had the opportunity to have nice careers and retirements and things like that. And the rest of us are probably all gonna burn to death or die of a pandemic. And the illness that the pandemic currently has, getting us all afflicted with, by the way. Did you know it suffocates you to death? Did you know if you get COVID, you slowly just can't breathe anymore? And eventually you die because you can't breathe anymore? Because your lungs stop working? Or whatever? But gotta get everyone back to work. CDC says you can only take 5 days off to quarantine, not 7 if you're vaccinated and you get the COVIDs. We're going to be a generation of long COVID zombies. This is the least interesting way we could have had a zombie outbreak. Fucking hell. Basically, I'm looking less for a relationship and more looking for a mate to spend the end of the world with then. Yeah, pretty much. If only things were as exciting as movies where a comet crashes into the planet and we all die. No. It's the most boring, stupid timeline. It really fucking is, and I'm sick of it. Dude. Always wondered why zombies wheezed like asthmatics. Yeah, well, there you go. There you go, mate. And it's not really promising or anything. I don't know. Anyway, right wing is bullshit. Look what they have done here. All in the pursuit of wealth and power, they have destroyed the only planet we have to subsist off. And it's bold. It's incredibly bold that Elon Musk and his ilk think they can sort Mars out for us by a certain point. They're going to have people on Mars in 2027, allegedly. What's that going to do? What's that going to do there, mate? Is that going to solve these problems? No, it's not. Hello, Ambitious. How's it going? There is a game about living at the end of the world where something could have been done 20 years ago, but now everything is fucked. Which one in particular? Happy New Year! We're just talking about the fact that we probably don't have many New Years left. Why did I do this right at the end of my stream? Now I'm going to go to bed depressed. I'm going to cry myself to sleep. Thank you, by the way. I'm laughing because I'm in pain. The solution is to have 12 people on Mars by 2050. Wow! Saving the human race. We don't deserve it. We don't deserve it. We never did. We never deserved to exist. We shouldn't have existed. It's easy to be so doomer about this, hey? Actually, on the subject... No, don't apologize, Majors. Don't say sorry. That's the mark of a weakling. No, there was a good video I actually wanted to watch about doomerism and millennials. I think it was either doomerism and millennials or doomerism and Gen Z. Basically, just like how much damage doomer memes are doing to our gen and younger, because it's easy to get defeatist about everything, which I look at Pixel Smixel's generally uplifting, positive outlook on things, and I'm like, I'm envious. I really wish I had her level of positivity, her level of optimism for the future, but I just can't do that, you know. Anyway, much as I would like to. Gonna ask what that pretty painting of a fairy light is, and it's a mirror. Getting rid of that soon too. There's a bunch of stuff in my house I need to get rid of. So the mirror's gonna be going. I can't take that with me when I move. I at the very least want to try and enjoy what's left of what life I have, so I'm gonna move to another state where there's work. Anyway. Well, supposedly. Excuse me. You're welcome. Do we want to call it there like a few minutes before? I'm moving, yeah, I'm moving out of New South Wales. I hate it. I hate this place. I hate it with a furor, okay? I just genuinely do not like this place. Too many bad memories. I was going to say Mia Mulder is playing Stellaris if anyone wants to go watch Mia. I was gonna raid someone else, but they're not online. But yeah, I can't stand New South Wales. It's given me hell, and I've gotten very little out of it. Aside from maybe my transition going relatively okay. You know, I had the privilege of having a good and steady transition so far, so that's good. But I can't stand this place. I'm literally living in an area, right, where there's no opportunities. So I'm glad I've had the possibility to stream for you folks and turn that into something, whatever that is. But yeah, I think I'm experiencing some form of just life burnout from trying and failing for so long in this place. And I'm like, fuck it, let's pick up and move. Let's go somewhere else. Let's do something else. Let's start fresh. Let's begin anew and hope that, you know, once I get to the other side of things, it'll be better for me there. I don't know. I'm going to do a makeup course. I'm going to become a makeup artist professionally. So, yeah. I'm going to Melbourne, going to Victoria, hopefully, the next few months. That's the reason I'm getting rid of most of my shit, just so you know. Anyway, be kind to yourselves and each other. I love your faces. Try to maintain some optimism if you can, and I'll see you when I'm looking at you.